Okay, guys, I think we are live, and I really hope that you're not watching this as a video later on. I really hope that you are watching this actually as the live stream. Now, if you weren't able to make it out to the live stream, if you aren't subscribed to the channel and you don't have notifications on, okay, let me say this once. Let me say this clearly. Fix your life. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button because the NFL draft is coming up. We are going to be doing so many of these fun drafts throughout the course of the NFL draft. So after we get day one, after round one is there, then we can do some rookie mock drafts. Then we can do the same thing with round two. And of course, I'm going to be keeping y'all updated with my live reactions for whatever picks we are seeing. But anyway, let's get a message sent out to let people know that we are live now. And let's see if we have anything else. Make sure if there's anything wrong with the audio, guys, let me know and I can go through and I can try to fix that. But oh my gosh, we have so many people subscribed to the channel with their bells on that there are already over 30 people in this live stream. We already have over 15 likes in the stream 1 minute in. So thank you. And real quick, guys, before we get to the Dynasty startup, what is going to be extremely important is for me to actually go through and fill y'all in on the league settings here. So the league settings are going to be a little bit more standard than we've been doing. So y'all know we've been mixing it up. Like we've done a 2 quarterback, we've done a points per carry, we've done a 2 tight end, and I want to continue to switch it up. But this one is a little bit more normal where I think a lot of people can expect to see this in their own Dynasty leagues. It is going to be a 12-team Superflex league where you need to start 1 quarterback at the minimum. You need to start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a super flex, and then you have additional flex spots to make up 11 total starters. Now, the only small twist that we have on this league is instead of it being a 4-point passing touchdown league and 1 point per 25 passing yards, you actually have 6 points per passing touchdown and 1 point per 20 passing yards. I think that's really the only switch that we are going to see. So yeah, let me go through, and if y'all want to join our next Dynasty Startup League, I will send the link to Patreon in the live chat right now. I'll leave it in the comment section. I'll leave it in the description of the video for anybody maybe watching this as a video later on. Okay, so let me send this out. All right, and outside of that, I guess we can go through. We can look at the live chat. We can answer whatever questions we may have before we get going with this startup. This should get kicked off in about 10 minutes. I just wanted to make sure we had time to come through, answer any questions, make sure the stream was all good, and explain the league settings. I should probably also pull up the league chat just in case anything goes wrong as we go in. Okay, so we have that league chat pulled up. I can read that as we read the live chat. Okay, over half of the people in the live stream right now have dropped a like on it. That's absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, guys. Okay, so let me give some quick shout-outs for the people out here. You got Joe, Dillon, Nathan, Noah, Joe, JN, my man, Mark, Alejandro, Berto, Noah, Mike. Let's see if we have anybody else. Garrett, Dustin, Broncos fan. Broncos fan is in this league. So, guys, please, in the chat, if you're in this league, let people know what team you are because, of course, the chat is going to be ruthless. Of course, they're going to be making fun of you over and over and over again, which I encourage y'all to do for me. Okay, so Garrett coming in with a donation. Thank you so much, my man. You're saying about to flame everyone's picks. Laughing my ass off. Can't wait. I'm going to be trying to be nice, okay, guys? This is a real league. I can be mean to people whenever it's a mock draft, but if it's a real league, I don't want to also be mean and just give y'all my honest opinion live. Maybe we can recap it. Maybe I can go, hey, you know what? That was probably a bad pick, but I don't want to do that in live time because if someone makes a bad pick, I want the next guy to make a similarly bad pick. That way we have some players that we actually want falling to us. Okay, so Garrett asking us thoughts on the Orlando Brown trade for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, it's really good. Obviously, we saw in the Super Bowl that the offensive line concern for Kansas City was real. And now that they've done a complete overhaul for the offensive line and a sneaky player that this is actually good for, I hate to say this. I hate to say it, but it's actually going to be good for Mecole Hardman. And I know y'all are probably going, Mason, you're an idiot. Just log off. But no, guys, Mecole Hardman truthers, they had to be worried about Kansas City going out there and getting a wide receiver like Terrace Marshall with that first-round pick. So I think we can say that this probably hurts one of those wide receivers that was going to be in that wide receiver 2 range if the Kansas City Chiefs were going to take him. Obviously, he was going to skyrocket up rookie rankings. There's no shot for that now. Mecole Hardman is locked in to the wide receiver 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs this upcoming season. And you get the bump in offensive line for Patrick Mahomes and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But honestly, that is probably a good transition for us to start talking about this draft, because what's exciting is obviously in a 6-point per passing touchdown league and 1 point for 20 yards instead of 25, you look at those high volume passers, you look at the best passing quarterbacks in the entire NFL, you go, hey, they're going to be at a premium. They're going to be scoring at a rate that is going to be so hard to catch up from with those elite running backs, with those elite wide receivers. And good news is, guys, somebody here has actually the 101. I have the 101 in Patrick Mahomes. Going to be very excited to go out there and actually get to take him. Now, generally, we like to trade back from the first round. I think that you can pick up value that way, but I did not even send any offers out because in this league format, I mean, Mahomes is too exciting to pass up on. But real quick, I see that maybe the thumbnail may not be updated. Let me pull this up on my phone. That way, I can drop a like on the video on my phone, but check the thumbnail more importantly. Okay, the thumbnail is perfectly fine. I'll drop that like while we're there. But Dan Rice coming out with the donation saying, is Kamara worth the 109? Thank you so much, my man. And I'm assuming that you're talking about a startup pick here, because obviously Kamara is worth way more than the 109 in a rookie draft, regardless of whatever the settings are. So in a startup draft, it depends if it's going to be a 1 quarterback league or a super flex league for me. Because in a 1 quarterback league, Kamara at the 109 is about the best draft pick you're going to make in the entire league. But if it's a super flex league, when you have that top tier of quarterbacks being mixed in, when you have the Mahomes, when you have the Kyler, you have the Josh Allen, you have a Dak Prescott possibly sneaking up there. Y'all know the quarterbacks. Y'all know the guys in round 1. That is where it gets a little bit interesting, because Alvin Kamara actually fell to the beginning of the 2nd round in our last Dynasty startup draft. And it's because Kamara is that running back that is on his 2nd deal. He's still not on that rookie contract. Now, I will say in the case of Alvin Kamara, it's a little bit better just because you're looking at it as a running back with actual guaranteed money. Now, we've talked about this before with Joe Mixon. We've talked about this with Derrick Henry. There's a big difference between Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry than there is with Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, and Alvin Kamara. It's the case that one of these groups of running backs, they have that guaranteed money on their deal. They have the guarantee that they are going to have that starting job on lock for the foreseeable future. Where in the case of Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry, I know, guys, Derrick Henry coming off one of the best seasons in the NFL. I know Derrick Henry showing no signs of slowing down. But still, in that case, you just have to be a little bit worried, because we've seen time and time again those running backs fall off a cliff once they get to age 26, 27, 28, where Derrick Henry is. And when you don't have guaranteed money in the long haul, I mean, would the Tennessee Titans really want to be paying Derrick Henry as one of the top running backs in the entire NFL if they see a drastic fall in efficiency, if he suffers a major injury this upcoming season? That is where the difference is going to lie. Because in the case of Alvin Kamara, even if he sees that efficiency drop, even if for whatever reason, which I'm not saying is going to happen, the worst case scenario happens for Alvin Kamara and he just looks like a bad NFL running back this next season. Well, you know what? Sucks for the New Orleans Saints, because they gave him the bag. They gave him all that guaranteed money. So Alvin Kamara is definitely going to be a starting running back going forward. You really don't have to worry about that. Okay. So let me go through and see if we have any other questions. Let me scroll up a little bit for the people that were out in the live stream right away. And guys, we will get this draft going in approximately 4 minutes and 30 seconds. This draft is going to get kicked off at 5 o'clock Central, not Eastern. I almost said Eastern. Okay, but let's see if we have any questions at the very top of the draft. Okay, Joe Johnson says, are you going to be doing another startup before the season? Okay, yes, guys, we are going to be doing so many of these startups. I think based on the demand that we've had for these, based on so many people on Patreon reaching out to wanting to join these, we may be doing these very often. I think at the very minimum, we're going to be doing them just say 3 times a month. Now, I know that seems very unrealistic, but the amount of people that want into Dynasty startup draft right now is very high. I have a ton of fun streaming these. I have a ton of fun giving y'all my thoughts and playing in them myself, because I know I can sit here and I can talk about whatever, and y'all can look at me going, okay, this clown clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's turn this off and let's go to something else. But ask anybody in these flock leagues. Ask anybody that was in a league with me last year. We straight up crushed. I think we had 10 flock leagues going. I think I straight out won 5 of them, and we only missed the playoffs in 1 of them. And of course, just if you're talking about expectation, you would expect to miss the leagues in half. You'd expect only to make the playoffs in 5 leagues. And if you're making it in 9 out of 10, I mean, that is an insane win rate. And I'm excited to continue to do that in 2021. I'm excited to continue to crush y'all in these leagues. Okay. Matthew saying Patrick Mahomes OP in this league. Yes, sir. You know Patrick Mahomes is OP here. Okay, let's go through and Mike is saying subscribe, baby. Let's do this. Yes, sir. Thank you for subscribing, my man. Okay, so real quick, let me actually just pull up the draft board. We haven't had as many trades in this league as we had in some of the other ones previously, but we did have some movement here. Imp has been the main guy trading around the board. Like I said, guys, y'all know if you've been in one of those other flock leagues with me, I am probably one of the most active people in there making trades, mainly because I don't negotiate that much. I just send y'all my best offer because I'm not trying to offend anybody, and a lot of times they get accepted. But anyway, this is the draft board, so not too much movement. We are going to be picking here at the 101. It's going to be a very difficult decision in a super flex format with a 6-point passing touchdown league, of course. But anyway, excited to make that selection. And what will actually be nice about this is because we are going back to back and we are at the very end, maybe I can give y'all my honest opinion about these picks in this range, because maybe I can go, hey, after we take some guy at the 212, or I'm sorry, at the 301, and then we're not going to be back up on the clock for another 24 picks, maybe I can tell y'all who I would have taken. I don't want to do that. Actually, I'm not going to do that just because I don't want to mess up anybody behind. I don't want anybody to be extremely upset if I call out their guy. But yeah, I think that should be it. We are going to be starting this off in 3 minutes. It looks like the majority of people are here. I will say real quick, guys, Birdman actually has an interview right now, so he is going to be a little bit late to the live stream. He said that he set his queue, so if you see auto picks going off there at this 105 range, then it's not a real auto pick. The queue is set, and he knows he's going to be missing the first portion. Hopefully he can get in here very soon. But also, I want to give a quick shout out to Joseph right here, this team at the 109. I am very thankful that we are picking this far apart from each other, because Joseph, I'm not going to lie, probably one of the best Dynasty players that I've ever played with. I mean, he straight up dominated the original Flock Patreon league. He straight up dominated that league to the point where that league folded because we couldn't get people to join. I already talked about the dangers of Dynasty Fantasy Football. I already talked about how I had to refund everybody and give everybody an extra $50 because I felt so bad. But one of the reasons that league folded is he created such a dominant team that it wasn't even funny, to the point where it looked like you took the worst 6 teams in the league, you gave him all of their assets, and that's what was left. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I am glad that we are picking far apart from each other, because I would hate to be going next to him. But Tia Kappa is saying Devin Duvernay going at the 101. Man, it's going to be a tough choice between Devin Duvernay, Colin Johnson, maybe Juju Smith-Schuster if I feel like reaching. Oh, and our last Dynasty Startup draft, guys, actually, we did not draft Juju, but we traded for him later on. Maybe I can go through and recap that one day. But yeah, anyway, we are going to be drafting in about 30 seconds. Let's get this going. Okay, Imp has a loaded draft. Yes, sir, he does. Look at this. He has 2 seconds. He has 2/3 and 2/4. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea how that got done. But anyway, it's about time to start this draft. Let's get this going. Begin the draft. We are up on the clock right away. And let's get our guy loaded up here now. I know Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be intriguing at this 101, but I think maybe, just maybe, he makes it back to us in the second round. So because of that, let's take Patrick Mahomes, because I would say there would probably only be like a 50% chance that Mahomes came back to us in the second. So let's take that pick, just hoping we get Juju there next. Okay. Now, Christian coming out says, what do you feel about Matthew Stafford, QB1 this year? Stafford's going to be interesting just because he's going to a fantastic situation. Probably the best head coach he's seen his entire career. Probably, I don't want to say the best wide receiver room, because he was in a wide receiver room at one point with both Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate, but a very good wide receiver room that's a lot better than what he's had recently. So Matthew Stafford, also the Rams spent a significant amount of capital to go out there and get him. It's really showing us exactly what they thought about him. So yeah, Stafford, a player that we like. I will say that it's hard to see just top 5 overall quarterback upside unless the efficiency and the touchdown rate are going to be sky high, because he simply doesn't have the rushing upside to get 200, 300 rushing yards in a season. But anyway, we are seeing quarterbacks fly off the board right now. Kyler Murray, Josh Allen go off at the 102 and 103. Then Lamar Jackson going off the board at the 105. It's going to be very interesting to see how this league values the quarterback position, given the fact that it is slightly quarterback boosted. I will say my own we'll hold off on my own personal evaluation of the quarterback position in this setting until we get about halfway through the startup, until we make sure that we're not messing up the draft board at all, because I really don't want to be influencing too much here. Okay. But anyway, Azion coming up on the clock at the 106. Maybe he was thinking he was going to be getting one of these quarterbacks, but obviously the best running backs available on the board right now are Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, my guy, Saquon Barkley, my running back one in Dynasty. And then you have some intriguing guys on their rookie contracts. Then you go over to the wide receiver position. Every wide receiver still available. I believe the first wide receiver off the board in our last draft went off at the 110, and that was Justin Jefferson. Then at the quarterback position, you have Herbert, you have Prescott, you have Wilson, you have Burrow, you have Rodgers, and another quarterback off the board. You have the rookie pick 106. And real quick, while everybody's in here, I have to give the reminder. I completely forgot to do this earlier. Okay, so you're going to see kickers go off the board pretty soon, probably. And no, this league is not starting kickers. No, this league is not going to be drafting kickers in the first round. When you draft a kicker, you are drafting a rookie pick. So the first kicker that is drafted, you're drafting the rookie pick 101. That way, after the NFL draft, we can have another draft. That's going to be the rookie draft. So yeah, please, if you see just whoever the top kicker off the board is, let's go over there and check that out. If you see Young Hoku go off the board here at the 107, 108, all the way down at the 205, it doesn't really matter. No, that's not someone drafting Young Hoku. That's someone probably drafting Trevor Lawrence, like we just saw here at the 107. Okay, so that is essentially Trevor Lawrence. Maybe they don't have Trevor Lawrence as their 101, but we can probably assume it is. Okay. But anyway, let's see if we have anything in the live chat that we should be looking at. Okay, Garrett saying RBs are going to be insane values, seeing the first few picks. Let's go through. Kevin saying, I like Kyler more than Mahomes for Dynasty. Don't at me. Man, that is about the craziest thing that I have ever heard in my entire life. I can't agree with that at all. Okay, so QB. Christian McCaffrey is the only non-quarterback that has gone off the board within the first 9 picks. Now, yeah, you see Young Hoku, doesn't add up, but just imagine that being Trevor Lawrence, okay? So CMC, the only running back off the draft board at the 104. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens after this, because you have some very good running backs available. If this was a slow draft, I promise you I'd probably be trying to trade for that rookie, not that rookie pick, just the pick 110 right now. But clearly it's a live draft. We're not going to have that opportunity. Okay, Broncos fan is saying that Trevor Lawrence is his. So he is Tyron Lannister taking Trevor Lawrence at the 107. Guys, let me know what y'all think of that selection. Let me know if you think you should go with Trevor Lawrence over Dak Prescott, over Joe Burrow, over Russell Wilson. I think in this format, honestly, Trevor Lawrence is probably a little bit more appealing just because the settings, which I don't need to dive into for the millionth time. Okay. So nobody is asking, rookies are in sleeper. Why pick kickers? Because we don't want to draft rookies now before the landing spots. I would rather have 2 drafts. The best way I can always explain it to people is, guys, 2 drafts is way more fun than just having 1 draft. So it's way better to have the startup draft and then afterwards go through and have a rookie draft. So yeah, I'm definitely going to continue to do this throughout the offseason, even when you have drafts going off after the NFL draft, because it's just way more fun. There's way more trading, and everything I do in this league, everything I do in every flock league is I just try to encourage as much trading as possible. So yeah, that's about it. But Jonathan Taylor going off the board is the second non-quarterback. So the running back 2 is JT at the 110. Please let me know what y'all are thinking of this. Now, I will say I don't want to say for sure if I like it or not. I think what I probably would have done is I would have gone with Russell Wilson, knowing that you would have gotten one of those running backs on the way back. You would have gotten a Jonathan Taylor, you would have gotten a Cam Akers, you would have gotten a Saquon Barkley, and Russell Wilson was the last quarterback in that tier. So yeah, I think you should have probably gone with Wilson here and then gone with one of the running backs in the second round, but maybe you just want to go RB, and that is completely fine. But what I need to point out here is Cam Akers going off the board as the 103 ahead of Saquon Barkley. Now, That is straight up crazy, in my opinion. Now, y'all know I have Cam Akers in a ton of Dynasty leagues. I have Cam Akers in a lot of Flock Patreon Dynasty leagues. And I promise you, if you're watching this right now and you have Saquon Barkley and I have a team that has Cam Akers, go send me that offer. I will make that swap as we speak on the live stream, because I think that you have to have Barkley as maybe not your running back one in Dynasty. I'm completely fine if you want to have CMC over him, but at the very minimum, he has to be your running back too. So yeah, I mean, wanted Alex Alejandro in the chat. Absolutely destroyed that. Okay, Josh coming out here and spamming his question. Josh, literally, if you want your question answered, the worst thing that you could ever do is spam it. You are going to get muted for the time being. You can chat again in about 5 minutes. But yeah, if y'all are spamming your chat questions, you're not going to get an answer. I'll tell you that. Okay, Kevin says he loves Cam Akers. He's going to go off. Yeah, I really like Cam Akers in the situation. I like the fact that Matthew Stafford's coming in. Should probably boost the overall efficiency of the offense. But still, Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley's still on his rookie contract, so you don't have to worry about the fall off anytime soon. So I love Akers, but Barkley has to be over him, in my opinion. I'm fine with Akers over Dalvin. I'm fine with Akers over Alvin Kamara. But taking him over Barkley, in my opinion, I just can't get behind. Okay, so let's go through and see if we have anything else standing out. Okay, so the 204 goes off here. And what's nice about taking these rookie picks, so at the 204, say you don't like the landing spot for Justin Fields, you don't like the landing spot for, just say, Travis Etienne, then you go, hey, you know what? We have the flexibility. We can make a pivot. We can go over to Najee Harris, where if you had to draft that second rookie off the board before the NFL draft, it would just be a little bit more risky because you don't have the flexibility to pivot. You don't know who the best player on the board is going to be when that rookie pick is up. So I definitely think that rookie picks themselves at this point of the offseason have more value at least at the very top rather than the rookie players. So I don't really have that much of a problem in this format taking the rookie pick 102 at the 204. But Deandre Swift, a fantastic value at the 205. Talk about those players that are 3-down running backs that are on their rookie contracts. That's exactly what Deandre Swift is. So now, obviously, there hasn't been a single wide receiver going off the board, so all the wide receivers are still available, but you have the rookie pick 103 now going before any of the wide receivers. Now, if we go through and look at some of the best players available. Oh, and I forgot to mention, guys, this is tight end premium like every single Flock league. It is 1.5 points per reception for the tight end position, which isn't crazy, but it is something to make this a little bit more fun. But at the running back position, best guys available are Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Ezekiel Elliott, Antonio Gibson, Jacobs, Eckler, Sanders, Robinson, Mixon. And then at the wide receivers, you have everybody. At QB, this is where it's going to get interesting. It's going to go, okay, if you did not get that quarterback one, where are you going to be taking a Desean Watson? Where are you going to be taking a Jalen Hurts? Please let me know where y'all think that tier of quarterback should be going in this draft. Let me know if you think they should be going in the late second. Let me know if you think they should be going early third, late third, early fourth, wherever. Okay, so let's go through and see if we have any questions in the general chat. Okay, JN says he'll trade us Watson for Akers. Sarcasm. Okay, guys, if y'all were unavailable to see our live stream with our first Patreon Dynasty startup this offseason, I kind of recapped what had happened through the first few rounds, and that was a 2-quarterback startup draft. So, yes, the scoring wasn't this high at the quarterback position, but there was a higher demand. So, you can judge for yourself what that's going to do for quarterback value. But it is interesting to see the difference because in that 2-quarterback startup, quarterbacks weren't valued this highly, at least where they were going in the league. Okay, but anyway, hopefully Azion here does not auto-pick. If he auto-picks, it's going to be annoying as hell, and we're probably going to have to fix it. But we will see, guys. I want to remind everyone, this is a real money league. If it's a mock draft, I'm fine with someone auto-picking, but okay, I didn't look like it was an auto. It looked like he manually picked that. Please, man, if you're in the chat right now and that was an auto, you have to let me know within the next 30 seconds to fix it because that looked like it was a manual pick. But anyway, Clyde Edwards-Helaire going off the board in the middle of the second. Now, I'm not going to speak on that, but we can speak on the rookie pick 104 going off. So it looks like everybody in this draft is planning on going with a QB, probably with those rookie picks. It probably looks like you're going to have this being Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, whatever order you like them. But the rookie pick 105 going off the board at the 2 and 9, I can't get behind that. I'll tell you right now, there's a 0% chance that I'm going to be looking at rookie picks at this 2-3 turn. Now, I know I probably shouldn't be saying that until we're on the clock because I don't want to get sniped, but still, Imp goes back-to-back rookie running backs on their rookie contracts. So now we are put in an interesting scenario. And if we're looking at the running back position, there really nobody that we are going to be wanting. And now I will say, usually I'm not looking at Travis Kelsey in this range. Even in a tight end premium league, usually I don't like Travis Kelsey because the age. I don't like the fact that you're investing into him knowing that he is going to have less dynasty value next offseason than he currently has. But we have Patrick Mahomes. I've talked about getting correlation in your starting lineup is so important. That's why I actually was hoping we were going to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the 212, but that doesn't happen. So we were looking at it going, we have the potential to take Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey and bet on this Kansas City Chiefs offense. And if Patrick Mahomes comes out and he has that 50 touchdown season like we saw in 2018, then we have a team that literally nobody can compete with. But I don't know if I can get behind taking Kelsey there just because I love Kittle. So we are stuck in a tough spot, but given the fact that this is a tight end premium format, and if we go back-to-back here, it's going to create a demand for tight ends later on in the draft because we are going to be hoarding the top-end supply. So there are going to be 11 teams fighting for a position that is going to be scoring a decent amount of points in a position that you can be putting in your flex spots given this format. I don't love this idea. I don't love taking Travis Kelsey here. And I'm going to take him after George Kittle just so it looks prettier on the board. But we are going to double tap tight end, and we are going to go George Kittle and Travis Kelsey at the 2-3 turn. Now, Kittle is my tight end 1, and if I did not take Mahomes there, just say for whatever reason we are at the 102 and we took Kyler Murray, I probably wouldn't take Kelsey. I definitely would pass on Kelsey. I would have gone with George Kittle and maybe a wide receiver with that pick as the running back position really dried up with the last 2 selections of J.K. Dobbins and Antonio Gibson. But yeah, we are going to go back-to-back tight ends there with the tight end premium format. And I know that people are not going to like that. I don't like taking Travis Kelsey, a 32-year-old tight end, at the very beginning of the third. But getting that correlation, getting that stack in our starting lineup is going to be something exciting. So yeah, we're going to double tap tight end here. It's going to be interesting to see where we have Waller, Andrews, Hawkinson, Fant all go off the board. All right, so yeah, everybody in the live chat going crazy right now. Let me know what y'all are thinking of that. I know that is probably not what y'all would have done, but I think that we can work around the draft board here, especially given the fact that this is a live draft. I think that tight ends are probably going to have to be pushed up the board now. This is what you see with high-stakes redraft players do. If they are at the end of the first in those tight end premium formats, they're willing to double tap those tight ends and get those 2 elite options because you can flex one in a tight end premium format without any points they'll be scoring. But yeah, we're going to go Kittle and Kelsey. Okay, so Allen says he would have gone Chubb, then Adams. To be honest, there is no planet I would have ever gone Nick Chubb and Davante Adams. I just am not a massive fan of Nick Chubb for so many reasons I've talked about previously. And in the case of Davante Adams, I mean, if you're going to be going with a veteran player, that's a win now piece. I think that you better go with Travis Kelsey if you're going to get that stack in a tight end premium format because Kelsey should outscore Davante Adams given the format. Okay, Mike Fish says he would have gone Chubb, Kelsey, Waller, Kittle. Okay, so he would have gone with Nick Chubb at one of the picks, and then he would have taken his favorite tight end out of Kittle, Kelsey, Waller. Now, another thing I want to point out, and another thing that I want to ask y'all in the live chat is, how are y'all valuing Travis Kelsey compared to Darren Waller this season? Because I've seen before, especially in the last 2 Dynasty startup drafts we did, I think Darren Waller went ahead of Travis Kelsey in both of them, which I can't argue with too much because Darren Waller is about 4 years younger. Darren Waller, you've had that same elite production, and to go along with that, he's playing in an offense where the target share for Waller is going to be sky high. But like I said, I can't even consider Waller there when we have Mahomes on the team. Okay, so Garrett is saying, actually love that tight end horde strat. In a 12-man format, you should be looking for advantages over teammates. Yeah, I will say that I'm probably not even going to be looking to trade these tight ends. I understand that a lot of people would probably look at that and go, okay, now you can sell Kittle, now you can sell Kelsey. But Kittle is my guy. I mean, I was taking George Kittle at the end of round 1 in some tight end premium leagues last offseason. Now, of course, he gets the injury, but whenever he was healthy, he was an elite tight end with the production that he was providing for you. So I think you have to look at Kittle at the 212, and I think that is a great value. Now, the value on Kelsey isn't there, but like I said, you have that correlation. Now you have Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and DK Metcalf going as the first 3 wide receivers off the board. Now, I've said this before, but A.J. Brown, he's going to be my wide receiver 1 in Dynasty as it stands. Now, if you maybe end up seeing the Tennessee Titans taking a Rondale Moore at the end of the first round, or you see them taking a Terrace Marshall or something, then yeah, you can bump down A.J. Brown slightly. But right now it looks like he may be in line for a 30% team target share. And if he's in line for a 30% team target share with the efficiency he's had throughout his entire NFL career, I think A.J. Brown is easily the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. I mean, he's going into year 3. This should be the breakout year for these wide receivers, and A.J. Brown has already been an elite asset. Okay, so Mike is saying he values it as Kittle, then Kelsey, then Waller. Man, I'm probably in a very similar boat to you because I understand some people wanting Waller over Kelsey, but I've been doing a ton of work for the Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide that we are going to be putting out on Patreon after the NFL Draft. And we've been looking at historical tight end finishes. We've been trying to dive into exactly what makes a good tight end prospect coming into the NFL. And it is hilarious looking at Travis Kelsey's production over the past 3 seasons. Like, we were having to do that research for that historical hit rate. And Travis Kelsey has been dominant. He's been the tight end 1 for the 3 years in a row. So even with him being older, I think you do have to have him over Darren Waller. Okay, Broncos fan says we got to show off the dog at the end of the stream. I'll grab the dog. I'll put her up at the end of the stream. I got you, my man. Okay, so our Reezy F saying just traded Ayuk, the 401, and Phillip Lindsay for Calvin Ridley. Okay, so essentially you traded Brandon Ayuk for Calvin Ridley because Phillip Lindsay and the rookie pick 401 really have no dynasty value at this point. So, man, I love the trade. Calvin Ridley, yes, is a little bit older, but Calvin Ridley looks like he's the solidified wide receiver 1 in Atlanta now. And that's a team that's going to have passing volume every single year with how bad that defense is. Okay, so Desean Watson going off the board there at the 307. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I do not mind taking Desean Watson in this range of dynasty startup drafts. I think it's a completely fine value because when you're drafting these teams like we did by getting that correlation with Mahomes and Kelsey with our first 3 picks, you are shooting for upside. Everything is upside because in the case of dynasty fantasy football, what is the worst thing that can happen? If Desean Watson misses 2021, then you're looking at a team that goes, well, crap. There goes my plan of being a competitive team. There goes my plan of being a team trying to take down the title in 2021. Let's go productive struggle. Let's just flip this on its head. And especially for a team that has the young core of Antonio Gibson, J.K. Dobbins, A.J. Brown, if Desean Watson misses this year, who cares? You are going to have one of the best teams in 2021, especially considering the fact that you're most likely going to be walking away with a high rookie pick as well. So I know everybody in the chat's going to be roasting that Desean Watson pick. I know everybody in the chat right now is about to become lawyers, but I will say this, guys, while you can sit there and you can really read into the Desean Watson situation, you can go through and you can read every single report you can find. What I care about is I care about the history of misconduct in the NFL and what the NFL has done about it. Now, I am not sitting on a moral high ground. I am not saying that I am better for this reason or whatever. I don't care. All I care about is dynasty fantasy football. All I care about is making sure that I have the best shot at winning the league. And if Desean Watson plays, he's an elite asset. And the NFL has shown time and time and time again that the players that will make the money, aka Ben Roethlisberger, it doesn't matter. They are not going to harshly do anything. They are going to do something to make sure the NFL doesn't look that bad. But at the end of the day, they are going to be losing so much money if Desean Watson isn't playing football that they're going to be doing everything they can to make sure he is. Okay, so Mike is saying Imp has a fire team. Yeah, I mean, Imp easily is the best team in the draft right now. I think that he made some very good trades beforehand to set him up in that way. But he's played this correctly. He went through and he took those rookie running backs ahead of us because we would have taken one of those guys. We probably would have taken J.K. Dobbins if he fell, and then right afterwards he gets the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. Following up, he then gets a quarterback with a ton of upside. But now we have Rodgers and Matthew Stafford going off the board at the late 3rd round. Now, This is interesting because obviously you wouldn't see this in a typical Superflex league, but you have to ask yourself, okay, this being a 6 point per passing touchdown, this being 1 point per 20 passing yards, does it really bump up these quarterbacks to this type of value? Now, I don't know. I don't want to act like I am some genius when it comes to this, because a big thing that I like to do in switching these formats up and making sure that we are keeping every flock league a little bit fresh is you can't have just a simple formula that you copy and paste over every Dynasty startup. You have to go in there and you have to do the work yourself. You have to come up with your own strategy. And I think that right now, it's not a solved game to figure out where these quarterbacks should be going. So I'm fine with the Rodgers. I'm fine with the Stafford pick in the late third. I'm not going to say that they're fantastic by any means. Like, I will point out the fact that G-Unit, if he would have decided to go with G-Unit, if he would have decided to go with a Russell Wilson and then afterwards go with possibly a Cam Akers or an Alvin Kamara, there he wouldn't have had to take Matthew Stafford at the late third. There he could have gone with a Nick Chubb. Like, let me ask you all this. Would you rather have Russell Wilson, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, or Matthew Stafford, Alvin Kamara, and Cam Akers? Now, personally, I would probably rather have the Russell Wilson side, even if I'm not a massive fan of Nick Chubb. But yeah, that is my stance on it. Okay, so let's go through. Alan saying Diggs should also be gone already. Here, I mean, what are you thinking with Diggs? I understand that Diggs is a great wide receiver, but I mean, is it really tragic that he's still on the board when wide receivers like Hopkins, Lamb, Ridley, Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas, when all those guys haven't gone? I mean, it's pretty much all one large tier. That's why with the Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill, I was willing to pass on them at the end of the second, beginning of the third, because obviously the drop-off from tight end is going to be massive after those two picks, and the drop-off at wide receiver really is going to be non-existent. Okay, nobody asking us, is this full or half PPR? This is full PPR. So, yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to look at the wide receivers as values on the board, but the thing is, those running backs, those quarterbacks, they dry up so quickly. So it's hard to come out here and say these wide receivers are just being severely undervalued. Now, Jalen Hurts going off the board there at the 402, that is interesting, because I will say this with Jalen Hurts. While I think that he has the access to be an elite top 3 quarterback in a regular fantasy football league, in a league that is 4-point passing touchdown, 1 point for 25 passing yards, I think Jalen Hurts can easily be a running back, just say top 3. I'm sorry, not a running back, a top 3 quarterback based on his rushing capabilities. But whenever you make this league a little bit more pass happy, whenever you make it the 6-point passing touchdown, the 1 point per 20 passing yards, there, I think that has to hurt Jalen Hurts. I think that has to hurt Lamar Jackson. I didn't want to come out here and say this right away just because I don't want to give away our strategy. But in my mind, I think that gives a bump up to the quarterbacks like an Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, the guys that are going to be pocket passers, and maybe they don't come through with some elite rushing production. But in this format, passing volume maybe can catch up. Maybe it can help these quarterbacks really just outweigh the fact that they are not as mobile as a Jalen Hurts. But that's one reason why I decided to create this format. That's one reason why I decided to run this league this way, is because I'm tired of talking about quarterbacks in a fantasy lens where you're just looking for that elite rushing upside. You're looking for the situation. You're looking for the guy that can do it for all 16 games. And we know that Aaron Rodgers in real life is worth significantly more than Jalen Hurts. We know he's a much better quarterback. So why in fantasy is Jalen Hurts projected to outscore Aaron Rodgers? So that's why I kind of like going through and making this league setting, because it kind of helps out those stationary quarterbacks. It kind of helps out those guys that may not be racking up those rushing yards. Okay, so Stephon Diggs now going off the board at the 403, like the chat wanted to see. And I want to point something out to y'all, chat. Y'all were telling me to take Nick Chubb at the late second, early third. Now he goes off the board here at the 404. And now y'all know Nick Chubb is not my guy, but at this kind of value, you have to say it's fantastic. You have to look at that Nick Chubb pick and get excited about it. I mean, Nick Chubb, yes, a committee running back. Yes, a guy that has injury concerns, and to throw on the fact that he's coming up on the last year of his rookie contract. But still, Nick Chubb at the middle of the fourth, I want to say, the 404. I like that pick. I think that's fantastic. Okay, so guys, if you have not dropped a like on the stream yet, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go look in the mirror. Go pull up your phone if you have it and do the front-facing camera. And that way you can see your lips moving. That way you really can look at yourself and you can ask yourself, what is wrong with me? What is going on right now? Why have I not fixed my life? Go down there, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. We're going to be doing so many fun things at the time of the NFL draft, and especially right after the NFL draft. So make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have that bell on. That way you can come out in the live chat. That way you can come out in the stream and have some fun with the events we are going to be doing. Okay. So Alejandro says, I'm banking on upside here with Tua coming off a big hip injury and possibly getting Chase and Pitts. Yeah, man, to be honest, I don't mind the Tua selection at the 312. And you're saying at the 401, you're thinking about taking either Chase or Pitts. Now, I will say what's interesting about that selection is one of those players could end up going to Miami. So maybe you're going to have a built-in stack here with Tua and Chase if Chase gets drafted at number 6 overall, or maybe you get Tua and Pitts if Pitts gets drafted at 6 overall. Okay, so someone's asking, Mason, the kickers are rookie picks, I'm assuming, right? Yes, guys, the kickers are rookie picks. So here, this is the 101, the 102, the 103, the 104, the 105, and here is the 106. But anyway, some more veteran running backs, Aaron Jones coming off the board. Then you have Ryan Tannehill at the 406. Okay, Imp has completely destroyed this draft. I mean, he has 2 potential quarterback ones. He has the wide receiver 1 overall in Dynasty and 2 potential running back ones on their rookie contracts. Man, congrats. Fantastic start. I am jealous, but I mean, at least we have Mahomes. I will say that. Now, CeeDee Lamb going off at the 407. Let's see what other wide receivers were available at this CeeDee Lamb selection. You have Hopkins, you have Ridley, you have Godwin, you have McLaurin, you have Thomas, you have Higgins, you have Allen Robinson, DJ Moore. So, yeah, I would call CeeDee Lamb the best wide receiver on the board at that point. But anyway, we are going to be up at the 412 sometime soon. And I have an idea of what we're going to be doing here. I don't want to give it away right away. Alejandro coming in with a big-time donation and saying, shot time, Mason. Thank you for the donation, my dude. I don't know if we can take a shot. I will say that. Technically, I do have something near me. Maybe we'll go and grab a beer like we did in the last stream. If that's something y'all want, let me know if that's something y'all do want. I feel like it probably messed up my drafting and probably messed me up talking a little bit, to be completely honest. And I know that sounds laughable, but like I said, guys, I am not a big drinker at all. Now, let's go. And let's go. Rips is saying no worries about Watson being such a huge risk. Yeah, I mean, just say... The best thing I can say here with Watson is what happens if Josh Allen goes on a ski trip tomorrow, tears his ACL. Where is he valued in Dynasty? Where does Josh Allen go in this Dynasty startup? I would say, hey, he probably goes late second, early third. Okay, so that's worst case scenario. That is as if Deshaun Watson is, we know, out for the entire season. So I understand it's scary, guys. You don't like pressing the button. But no, it's a great pick there at the 307. I have no problem with that. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people want us to drink a beer. I have no idea. What does it do for y'all for me to drink a beer? Anyway, okay, Miles Sanders last till the 410. I'm not going to lie. I didn't even know Miles Sanders was still on the board. I 100% would have taken Miles Sanders if he made it to us at the 412. That was a fantastic selection. Great job getting a running back on their rookie contract. Now, at this point, this is where it gets interesting. And I know I say that every time, but anyway, so we're looking at a team where we started with Kelsey. And one reason I don't like starting with Travis Kelsey is that kind of locks you into having to be a competitive team right away. That kind of locks you in to making sure you are chasing immediate production. And if that's something that we are doing, I think the easiest pick that we could ever make right now is Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott is going to be our pick at the end of the 4th, given this roster construction. Now, us going through and figuring out our second pick, that's going to take a little bit of time. So give me a second before we lock that Ezekiel Elliott pick in, just because I want to make sure we're utilizing this clock. Okay, so if we're going to the wide receiver position, there are still so many quality wide receivers, but the problem is we are not going to be picking up again for another 25 picks. But in a tight end premium league, what we could possibly do is go Zeke here and then take Mark Andrews. Or honestly, probably TJ Hawkinson. I'd probably take Hawkinson over Andrews at this point, given the fact that with TJ Hawkinson, you are going to have him just as a target hog in Detroit this year because there really is nobody else to go to. So let's lock in Zeke right now, and then we can talk out loud about this next pick. Okay. So it's pretty much no. We can't go with Hawkinson. Already having Kittle, already having Kelsey, even in a tight end premium format where you're completely fine putting them in your flex spots. I think what we do here instead is, do we want to go with Hopkins? He's 28, but he is going to fit this mold. So I say we build a win now team. We just go with the production. And yeah, maybe we have to blow it up next year. Maybe we just take home the trophy. But if we win the league pot, it's going to pay for itself for a very long time. So let's go Ezekiel Elliott and DeAndre Hopkins here at the 4-5 turn. Now, I don't love taking these veteran players. I don't love taking these guys that don't project to be long-term core assets for a very long time. But when you're going to do it, you better be taking them together. You better be going all in on the win now. And that's what we're doing with Travis Kelsey, Ezekiel Elliott, DeAndre Hopkins as those competitive win now pieces. Okay, so let's go through, and Kevin saying shotgun a water for your health. Yes, sir. I got my water right here, my dude. Okay, Matt said Mason going to be set on tight end for the next 20 years. Honestly, if we didn't have a win now team, I probably would have gone with the Hawkinson. I probably would have gone with a Mark Andrews, but if tight end falls to us the next time, we can go there then. So Matt is saying he wishes we would have gone with a wide receiver over George Kittle. No, man. In the tight end premium format, I mean, A.J. Brown is my wide receiver 1 in Dynasty, but I would really prefer having George Kittle over A.J. Brown. I have A.J. Brown in a few Dynasty leagues, and every single Dynasty league I play in is 1.5 PPR for the tight end position. And if you're watching this stream and you're in a league with me where I have A.J. Brown, I promise you, I will trade him right now for George Kittle straight up. I'll have Kittle in a vacuum over A.J. Brown quite easily, to be honest. Okay, so let's go through, and Robert Bush asking us who is a round 1 pick 7. Okay, so that's Young Hoku. Obviously, that's not actually who you're drafting. What you're drafting there is you're drafting a rookie pick. You're drafting the rookie pick 101. So we can assume it's probably Trevor Lawrence. Okay, Berto says, does 1 tight end premium versus 2 tight end premium change anything? Yes, a start 2 tight end league, tight ends are valued significantly higher than only a start 1, even if they are both tight end premium. I mean, the biggest way you can add value to the tight end position in Dynasty is making people start 2, because if you have to start 2, you go, oh crap, really? There are not 2 options we can look at. So yeah, I mean, George Kittle or Travis Kelsey, they wouldn't have made it this far in a start 2 tight end premium format. But TJ Hawkinson does go off the board at the 502. Now, that is interesting. I will say that. Let's see if he fits the mold. Let's see if he fits the build. Okay, so he does fit the build. I mean, you have Kyler, you have the rookie pick 103, which we can probably assume is going to be a Justin Fields, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne range, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson. So yeah, very young core that fits the mold. Completely fine with that. Okay, Robert asking, why is Nick Chubb in round 4? Hey, because Nick Chubb fell to round 4. I will say that this is a super flex format with boosted quarterback scoring. So of course you're not going to see Nick Chubb in round 4 in a 1 quarterback league. But still, I like I said, Nick Chubb, not someone I love, but you have to love the value with that. Now, let's go over real quick and see if we have... what I don't like about picking at the end is you're just sitting here twiddling your thumbs for 25 picks. I mean, what are we doing right now? Okay, Tyrion Lannister is up here. He takes Josh Jacobs. I will say, I really don't like the Josh Jacobs pick. I really don't. I loved your selection of Miles Sanders, but that Josh Jacobs pick, we simply can't get behind. I mean, Kenyon Drake coming in, not only Kenyon Drake coming in, but also the offensive line getting significantly worse. I'm sorry to sound like an ass. I hope I'm wrong in your case, but Josh Jacobs, I can't be taking him there over wide receivers like Ridley, over Godwin, Terry McLaurin. I mean, Jacobs, I probably wouldn't even have taken at the 6'10", to be completely honest. I don't like that at all. Okay, Josh is asking, in a non-tight end premium format, George Kittle or Miles Sanders. I think you have to go Miles Sanders, just because the position at tight end is going to be so replaceable in a non-tight end premium league, because in a non-tight end premium league, people aren't going to be putting tight ends in their flex spot. So I think there, just because of positional scarcity, you want to end up going with Miles Sanders. Alejandro says he feels what we mean about waiting. Yeah, Alejandro is on the other end of us. So it is a very long wait. We are 30 minutes into the draft right now. We've already got 5 picks. So that's not too bad at all. Okay, Jay Wall says Clyde Edwards-Helaire still on the board and Josh Jacobs got picked. Crazy. No, sir. CEH is not on the board. CEH was selected here at the 207. Trust me, if he would have fallen, what I probably would have done, and I probably would have gotten laughed at for it, but I would have gone Mahomes, CEH, and Travis Kelsey just to get that stack. Okay, so let's see if we have any other questions. Okay, Zip is saying, if I were you, I would have picked Mixon because when your next pick is around, I don't think there are going to be any running backs there that you can confidently start every single week. Yes, that is completely true, but here you have to start 3 wide receivers, so I think it does boost up the wide receiver value slightly. And while we took Mixon in the last startup, I think we actually took him at the beginning of the 5th round as well. I think we took him at the 505, actually. That was a points per carry format where you were going to be a lot more excited about putting those running backs into your flex spot. So in this case, I do not think that you really need to be too concerned about going and getting that second running back over a wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, because we know Hopkins easily has another 3-4 years in the NFL with very high production, and you simply can't say the same thing about a running back like Joe Mixon. I mean, there's probably a reason that Joe Mixon is still available on the board. I will say I definitely would have preferred taking Joe Mixon over Josh Jacobs if you were dead set on taking a running back there. But yeah, let me know if y'all would have done anything different from my current start right here. I know that it probably doesn't look good when everybody's chasing youth at this time of the season, but if we were talking about 2021 production given the format, I think it's going to be hard to find a team that has more upside than Mahomes, Kittle, Kelsey, Zeke, and DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, so let's go over here and let's see if Peter is saying Jay Petrini has the best draft so far. Yeah, guys, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about, Joseph being one of the best dynasty players that I've ever played with. I mean, I'm not joking, guys. Straight up dominated the original Flock Patreon Dynasty League. And that one started up, I want to say 2, maybe 3 years ago. It started up the season where Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs were coming into the NFL. Okay, Andrew says, just joined. What's the league setup? Okay, so this is a 12-team Dynasty Superflex League. The really only weird things that you need to know about it is that it's tight end premium, so 1.5 points per reception for the tight end position. But more importantly, the difference is quarterback scoring is going to be a little bit different, where you have 6 points per passing touchdown, as well as 1 point per 20 passing yards, rather than 1 point per 25 passing yards. So that's definitely going to make a big difference in the points per game value for these quarterbacks going off the board. I will guarantee you that. Okay, Robert saying, what is Joe Burrow's worth in Dynasty? I have Josh Allen already. If you're talking about a Superflex league, Joe Burrow is, in my opinion, easily a late first, early second round pick. I would prefer having Joe Burrow over Trevor Lawrence. I would say that he is worth more than the rookie pick 101 based on what we've already seen at the NFL level, and given the fact that you can almost guarantee the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be adding to either his passing core or his offensive line in the 2021 NFL draft with that 5th overall selection. So Joe Burrow, I think that in a Superflex format, he's worth more than the 101 in my opinion. I don't think you would have to give something on top of the pick to get Joe Burrow, though. I think you could easily make that switch, as most people would rather have Trevor Lawrence over Burrow. Okay, Leonardo is asking, what happens when the other rookies that are not picked as kickers? I don't know exactly what you mean by that, my man. Let me slide this over. Okay, so you're saying what happens with the other rookies that are not picked on the startup using the kickers? Man, we are going like 6 rounds deep here. So I promise you pretty much every single rookie is going to be picked using these kickers. I guarantee you that. Okay, but Andrews going off the board here at the 506. I like the value with Andrews. I mean, did you all see the Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews video from the club? It looks like they are on the same page. It looks like they are getting along nicely. And Mark Andrews is someone that did command a significant amount of targets per snap throughout his entire NFL career. Now, yes, he's had a problem with drops, but the opportunity should be there in Buffalo. We've seen him have elite production before, and given the tight end premium format, I really like that. Now, let me point out this team right here, in Blaze, going running back heavy, also looking like he is having a competitive win now build. Now, yes, I know Swift, Prescott, they're long-term assets, but I would make the argument that Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, and Austin Eckler, all running backs on their second contracts, while yes, they project to score a significant amount of points in 2021, their long-term value here, you can make the argument that it's not going to be as high as some of the other players on the board right now. So, yeah, I think that if you're building a win now team, you have to get excited, but you have to make sure you construct the roster the rest of the way with that goal in mind. Okay, Alejandro says, what's the flock chat think Wanted Alex should take here? Crowdsourcing my picks. Okay, guys, what do y'all think Wanted Alex should go here? Okay, so he has Russell Wilson, Saquon Barkley, Tua, and the rookie pick 106. That rookie pick 106, if you just look at how it's going to shake out, he's probably going to have an option at either Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, depending on when the quarterbacks go during the rookie draft. And based on where they went in this startup draft, I would assume that you have 4 quarterbacks off the board there by the 106. So that 106 pick, you can either chalk up to being one of the top 2 running backs, Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts. So where do you think where do you think Wanted Alex should go here at the 5-6 turn? If you go position by position, looking at the best value available, you have Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton, Drew Lock. You go to running back, you have Mixon, David Montgomery, Chris Carson, Kareem Hunt. Mixon just goes off the board. There, guys, y'all were telling me to take Mixon at the end of the 4th, beginning of the 5th, last till the 5th round. I'm sorry, the 5-10. At the wide receiver position, you have a ton of guys. You have Thomas, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool, Kenny Golladay, Jerry Jeudy, Deonte Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Juju Smith-Schuster, and DJ Chark. The tight end position, you have Fant, Gesicki, Goddard, Tunyon, Henry, Irv Smith Jr., and Evan Ingram. So, guys, where do y'all think you should be seeing Wanted Alex go here? But anyway, let me point out the fact that Joseph gets a stack of Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. Now, I mean, this is a fantastic start. It looks like it has the balance between being a win now team as well as having that core for the long haul. I mean, you have Burrow, you have presumably Justin Fields at the rookie pick 102. And then you throw in the fact that you are going to be having Higgins there as the wide receiver 1 for Joe Burrow for the foreseeable future. So, yeah, I mean, that's a nice core to have. Then you throw on the fact that you have that 2021 production in Davante Adams and Nick Chubb. It's a fantastic start. Okay, so a bunch of people here are saying he should go Mixon and a wide receiver. Mixon just got selected. Someone's saying DJ Moore. Cody saying Noah Fant and DJ Moore. So, yeah, I'm not going to give my opinion because I'm probably going to be hoping some of these players are going to make it back to us at the 6-12, the 7-01. But it's going to be interesting to see where Alejandro goes here. Josh says he thinks he should be going with the rookie pick 109. Is that the best rookie pick available at this point? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so the next rookie pick available is going to be the 109. And if you go through and you think about who the 109 is most likely going to be, you go, okay, well, we can assume that you're probably going to have 4 quarterbacks off the board in Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson, all off that point. You can also assume that you're going to have both Najee Harris and Travis Etienne, so that is 6 total players. Most likely, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts will not be available either, so that is 8 total players. So then you're looking at your choice pretty much between Mac Jones, whoever you think the wide receiver 2 is. In my case, that's Devonta Smith, and then also Javonte Williams. Okay, so Alejandro says the flock chat has spoken. Let's see where he goes with these picks here. Also, Brandon Ayuk at the 5'11". Let me see who was still available. Let me know what y'all are thinking about Ayuk because I think that there's no way you can take Ayuk over one of these wide receivers that's still on the board. JN says, Mason, how crazy would I be for taking Harris over Etienne? You wouldn't be crazy at all. I mean, I think it's consensus at this point to have Najee Harris over Travis Etienne. Now, personally, I like Etienne a little bit more. You're going to find him number 1 in my own rankings, and that's because Etienne has the size, he has the receiving game capability, and he's going to get that same NFL draft capital. So I really like Etienne. But Wanted Alex, by far and away, takes the best values on the board. He takes DJ Moore, Noah Fant, both players that I was hoping were going to make it back to the 6-7 turn. I kind of knew that Noah Fant wasn't going to be able to, but I was hoping, just praying, that there was some way DJ Moore was going to make it to that last pick in the 6th round. But yeah, fantastic pick there, my man. I think I would have done the same exact thing if I was you. Okay, so now you have the rookie pick 109 going off, and if we're comparing this to some other players, so say rookie pick 109, let's call it Javonte Williams. I think at that point, most people would rather have Javonte Williams over Devontae Smith. But even then, let me ask you all this. Would you rather have one of Javonte Williams, Devontae Smith, or would you rather have Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Chase Claypool, Kenny Golladay? Because I think at that point, at the 109, I think it's a little bit overvalued there. I don't think we can be going with the rookie pick 109. Of course, if you think that I'm wrong with that, I would love to hear your opinion. But I think that I would have probably rather gone with a veteran at that point. Okay, Jeff is saying Najee or Damian. Okay, we're not going to even have to entertain that. Matt is saying this guy will regret that Ayuk pick heavily. Guys, let me know what y'all think about that Ayuk pick. Do you like it at the end of the fifth? Do you think you should have gone? I mean, you should have seen G-Unit go with something else there. But it is an interesting start. I don't mind the Ayuk pick that much. I would have preferred seeing Noah Fant or DJ Moore go with that pick. But yeah, if we're going to make fun of G-Unit, I have to make fun of him for the rookie pick 109. I mean, it's going to be so hard to take the rookie pick 109 over Michael Thomas. I mean, getting Michael Thomas at the 603 is a fantastic value. I mean, I think that at this point, we can say that Joseph, Adam Davis, and Imp have the best team so far. Imp has easily the best team. I think that's more so just based on the trades he made before rather than his actual draft picks. But Joseph and Adam have straight up destroyed this draft. I'm excited to see where Joseph decides to go at the 604. But yeah, hopefully it's not with someone that we are going to be looking at. So if we go through, let me just check out every position at this point to see what kind of the depth is looking at. Because maybe, I mean, when you're at the end like this, it's kind of hard to go through and just take best player available because you may end up being in a spot where you don't have someone that you can look at the next round because you're not up for another 23 picks. So you have to look at where those tier drop-offs are going to be. And yeah, you can try to force runs and stuff. You can do a little bit more at the turn than you can at the very middle of the draft in terms of trying to force the board. But it's also very bad because you can't take best player available. It's very hard to do that. Alejandro says Michael Thomas was hard to pass up on. Man, I think you made the right call. I think that DJ Moore and Noah Fant is the best available. But anyway, Amari Cooper, our guy that we wanted at the 612, goes off at the 604 by Joseph. Of course, that happens. I really wanted Amari to fall. I think the disrespect Amari Cooper has been seeing as of late is hilarious because Amari Cooper, one of the best wide receivers in the entire NFL at generating separation. He has a long track record of production. Really, there's nothing else you could be looking for in a wide receiver that Amari Cooper does not have except the age. And I know it seems like we've been talking about Amari Cooper forever, and that's because he was a great wide receiver at Alabama. He was a great wide receiver at 18 years old. So yes, we've been talking about him for a decade, but you pull this up and you go, well, crap, Amari Cooper's only 26 years old. I mean, Amari at the 604, I love that value. Now, Kirk Cousins at the 605 is intriguing compared to some of the other quarterbacks that are available. You have Baker, Wentz, Brady, Matt Ryan, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Derek Carr, Darnold, Winston, Cam, Locke, Roethlisberger, Fitzpatrick, Dalton, Love, and really nobody outside of that. But I guess that Kirk Cousins pick at the 605 is completely fine. Now, if we go over to the running back position, I'm not saying I'm going to be drafting a running back here, but you do see that a fall off is coming very soon where you have Montgomery, Carson, Kareem Hunt, and then in my opinion, probably a pretty big drop off, but y'all know that Montgomery, Carson, it doesn't matter if they were sitting there in round 15. I probably couldn't take them just for the brand alone. Now you have Robinson, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Claypool, Kenny Golladay, Jerry Jeudy, Deonte Johnson. That's why we are fine going with the George Kittle over a Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown, because the wide receivers we're going to be looking at here with this 6-7 turn, they're going to be fantastic. I mean, they're going to be quality wide receiver options where if we were looking at a tight end in this range, I mean, the best tight end available, I'm not even going to say who it is because I'm probably going to want to draft them in a couple rounds, but all our guys going off the board now, Allen Robinson, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, all go back-to-back. Yeah, those are some of the wide receivers we are looking for because y'all know I am not very scared of wide receiver age like we are with the running backs. While, yeah, I mean, I don't love drafting Ezekiel Elliott here. It kind of looks bad that I'm saying this right now, but generally we're avoiding those running backs that are on their second contracts that are a little bit older, but those wide receivers I'm completely fine taking. Okay, so we have one more pick until we are up. Let's see who falls to us. I have one guy in mind that I'm really wanting, but let's see if we even have the option to take him. Okay, my bet real quick, because there's a lag to the stream, so I don't think Jay Clark is going to hear this. My bet is Jay Clark. Let's look at his team. He goes David Montgomery here. That's my bet. Okay, yeah, people are saying Imp is killing it. Yeah, guys, I mean, he's got the right pick pretty much every single time, in my opinion, and he had those trades before the draft. But anyway, he decides to go Jerry Jeudy, and this is fantastic news. Now, generally, I don't love Baker Mayfield in fantasy football. I don't love the fact that he's not a quarterback that has that elite rushing upside. But like I was saying earlier in this Dynasty startup, given the fact that quarterback scoring is boosted with passing yards, with touchdowns, I'm fine taking those stationary quarterbacks. I'm fine taking the Matt Ryan. I'm fine taking the Kirk Cousins. That's why we decided to pass up whenever we were at this turn, hoping that just one of those guys was going to fall to us. And Baker Mayfield is my favorite out of that group. So we are going to be taking Baker. Now it gets to the point where we go, okay, I hate him, but do we have to take him? Do we have to take David Montgomery? Now, I don't like the idea. I actually, no. What I'm thinking right now is probably rookie pick, to be honest, because, okay, so here's the 109, but now that all these wide receivers are off the board, so we can probably assume that 109 is Javonte Williams, right? So if we're at the 110, then we're probably going to be looking at Devonta Smith. And at this point, yeah, Kenny Golladay is a better wide receiver than Devonta Smith. That is not in question. But you go, okay, Kenny Golladay in New York, Kenny Golladay with the injury concerns, or Devonta Smith. Now, that is where we're going to be looking at an intriguing situation. Let's just take Baker here before we time out on that pick. And now, JN in the chat saying trader for us taking Baker Mayfield. Man, I'm probably going to have to bench Baker Mayfield week 1 just to show him who's in control, just to show him who's boss, just to show him that OU sucks. But, yeah, I mean, value is value. Like I said, we're just trying to win Dynasty leagues here. Now, the question is Golladay or Devonta Smith. I think we go with the rookie pick here, given the fact that it will also give us flexibility and that maybe one of those rookies that we were projecting to go ahead of Devonta Smith currently, maybe they find themselves in a bad landing spot. Maybe you have like Jamar Chase going to the Detroit Lions or something, and then that bumps down a better wide receiver prospect than we initially thought we were going to get. So, yeah, I think we're going to go with the rookie pick 110 there. I don't love it. I think if we would have gone anywhere else, it would have been Kenny Golladay. But just the situation with Golladay is going to have us pass on him there at the beginning of the 7th. Now, let's see if we made a mistake. Let me go through this flex area and just make sure that we aren't going to be regretting this in about 5 minutes whenever a better player gets selected. Let me know what y'all think about that. And I promise you guys, if you sit there and you actually map it out, that rookie pick 110, it's going to be a Javonte Williams. It's going to be a Devonta Smith. Maybe you have one of those higher quality prospects falling if they get a bad landing spot, but it's going to be someone in that range. Okay, JN is saying he took 3 Sooners in our draft. Man, that's embarrassing. Like, I don't know why you would admit that. I don't know why you would publicly share that information, especially to a fellow UT Longhorn. So yeah, man, I'm probably I'm gonna have to mute you for a second, my dude, for just saying that. To be honest, yeah, you're gonna be muted for about 5 minutes. I don't know why you would admit that on a public forum. I hope you don't do that again. Okay. But anyway, Shane coming out to the live stream. Thank you so much, my man. Really hope you're enjoying it. Let me just make sure everybody's on the same page. 12-team, Dynasty League, Superflex, tight end premium, slightly boosted quarterback scoring. That's really all y'all need to know. Okay, nobody asking, in one quarterback formats, what rounds do quarterbacks go? Okay, generally you would see Patrick Mahomes in a one quarterback league go at the end of the second, the beginning of the third. Of course, depending on how good the people are in your league, you could see that vary slightly. You could see Mahomes fall down to the late third if people really know what they're doing. You could see him go as early as a top 5 pick in a one quarterback format if people really don't understand the replaceability of the position. But anyway, Jay Clark going there at the 702 with David Montgomery. Okay, guys, let me know what y'all think of Montgomery. Let me know if y'all think I made a mistake in taking the rookie pick 110 over him. Let me know if y'all would have Montgomery ahead of all of the rookies that we would see in that range. Guys like Javonte Williams, guys like Devonta Smith, other wide receivers you may love like a Rashad Bateman. Of course, we're going to get to see the landing spots before we have to make any of those concrete decisions. Okay, so Damian says, what are your thoughts on Daniel Jones this year as a sleeper? I'm buying cheaply where I can. Yeah, man, I think that Daniel Jones is actually a great guy to buy on the low because in the case of Daniel Jones, unlike Carson Wentz that we see go off at the 704, I mean, the Giants really want to see him succeed. I mean, the Giants are doing everything they can to put pieces around him. I mean, they bring in Kenny Golladay. I'm not going to be surprised if they decide to take Jalen Waddle with their first-round pick, even with Golladay there. And I mean, if you look at the splits with Daniel Jones, with and without Saquon Barkley, there's a drastic difference. So, yeah, I think that Daniel Jones is going to be a great, I don't want to say a great pick, but definitely a value pick with where he has been going. Okay, Benny is saying David Montgomery ahead of the rookie pick 110, no doubt. Yeah, guys, I assume most people would think that, and I'm not even saying y'all are wrong. I'm just going to be completely honest here. Whenever we started this channel, we started a Dynasty channel way back at the very beginning of 2019, I believe maybe the end of 2018. That was the draft class where David Montgomery came out. That's where you had Miles Sanders. That's where you had Josh Jacobs. And we had Miles Sanders as our running back 1 in that draft class. And if you don't remember, most people had Jacobs, David Montgomery, and then Miles Sanders as their running back 3. We love Sanders. He was our running back 1. I hated David Montgomery. I hated him so much to the point where we were just spending the entire offseason arguing with people, telling people that Miles Sanders was the better running back. Miles Sanders was the better dynasty investment. And it kind of scarred me from ever owning David Montgomery on a single team. I do not think I've ever pressed the draft button on David Montgomery. So maybe a bad decision on my part, but I don't want to read too much into that. Okay, so Benny says, I don't like Monty's talent, but a running back who can help a contender is worth at least their first. So here, the thing is, man, when we're taking that rookie pick 110, when that's on the clock, who knows if we're actually going to be taking the player? Who knows if we don't go out there and look to trade the pick? It does give us some roster flexibility. I mean, who knows? Maybe Mac Jones goes to San Francisco at that 3rd pick overall, and then all of a sudden, we are looking at getting a Jamar Chase, a Kyle Pitts, a quality prospect like that falling to us at the 110. And I know that's crazy to say, but there's an outside shot. There's an outside shot. Now, Dallas Goddard going off at the 707. Now, Dallas Goddard was my favorite tight end on the board. That's who I didn't want to bring up whenever I was talking about possibly looking at a tight end in this range. I thought that Dallas Goddard would easily fall to the late 8th, early 9th. I guess not, so I guess we're not going to get a shot on him regardless. But Golladay goes off here at the 7th. Okay, so in Blaze here, building a great win now team, to be completely honest. Swift, Henry, Jones, Eckler, all running backs you should project to be in the top 10, at least top 15. Then you have Dak, Kirk Cousins, some stable quarterbacks, Dak Prescott with that elite level upside, and Kenny Golladay as your wide receiver 1. And I know you don't love him as your wide receiver 1, but if you have that running back production coming through, you are completely fine with it. Okay, Shane says he would take Carson Wentz over Matthew Stafford. Matt Ryan. I don't know why I can't talk right now. But my problem with Carson Wentz, guys, is let's fast forward and let's go to week 4 of the NFL season this year. And let's say that Carson Wentz has been disappointing so far. Say Carson Wentz has looked the same that he did in 2020. Let's say that he doesn't improve and the Indianapolis Colts start out 1-3. Then what you're going to have is you're going to have the chatter happening. You're going to have the chatter going, hey, is Carson Wentz yet again one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the entire NFL? I mean, should Carson Wentz be benched? Should we give a different player a shot? Should we give someone else with possibly a little bit more upside a shot at the starting job? And when those conversations start happening like they did with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz, we have to understand that it's going to be completely different in Indianapolis, in that the Philadelphia Eagles had to do everything in their power to make sure Carson Wentz was going to succeed. They had to do everything by surrounding him with weapons and what they thought was a great one in Jalen Reagor. They also had to hold off Jalen Hurts as long as possible to make sure that Carson Wentz just had every opportunity he could. And the reason for that is because they gave him that massive contract. And now trading away to Indianapolis, we have to go, okay, what are the motivations for the Colts? Obviously, plan A is to be a competitive team, hopefully make a Super Bowl, hopefully win the AFC, and have Carson Wentz do that. Have Carson Wentz lead them that way. But if that doesn't happen, if that's not a realistic outcome for this team, then where do their motivations lie? Because if they continue to start Carson Wentz throughout the entire season, then they are paying a first-round pick this next year to the Philadelphia Eagles. Yet if they shut him down halfway through the year, if they go, you know what, Carson Wentz, you're not getting it done. We are not going to be a Super Bowl team here. Let's see what Jacob Eason has. Let's see with someone with some upside. In that case, you're looking at Carson Wentz, you're going, well, crap. I mean, they have no reason to be playing the guy. They're actually incentivized to bench him. So Wentz, I don't love Carson Wentz in fantasy this year. In this format, this is the one format I will say that I think he's a fine value in the 7th round, but a regular Superflex league, I can't take him there. Okay, so Mike coming in says, in a league with no specific starting positions and only flexes, do we see running backs or wide receivers go first? Man, you're talking about essentially the flock leagues that are flock 9, flock 4, flock 5, flock 6, flock 7, flock 8, flock 9, flock 10. That's pretty much how they all are, where you only have to start one at every single position, and then you have a crap ton of flex spots. And if you go over to my teams there, man, what you are going to find is stud wide receiver, stud wide receiver, stud wide receiver, stud wide receiver, where I'm fine having Nyheim Hines as my running back 1 in a format like that. If you only have to start one running back and it's a PPR league, no points per carry, I'm completely fine passing on running backs, taking wide receivers. Like, just say in this Dynasty startup draft, we would have possibly gone with Mahomes, Kittle, Kelsey, and then in this range, we could have double tapped, say, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley. And then here, of course, we're in a little bit of a different spot because we're not taking running backs regardless. But yeah, no, man. Wide receivers are so valuable in those flex heavy formats where you don't have specific roles that you need to fill. Okay, so Brendan coming in says, Sutton is so much better than Jerry Jeudy. I will say this with Cortland Sutton. Okay, so Cortland Sutton was a wide receiver that I really did not like in Dynasty drafts last year. If y'all remember, Cortland Sutton was being valued as a late 4th, early 5th round Dynasty startup pick. And I thought it was disgusting. I did not agree with it in the slightest. But that was because the Dynasty community was failing to react to the addition of Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler and the development of Noah Fant in that Denver offense. So they were looking at Cortland Sutton as an alpha wide receiver where I was going, you know what? That's just simply not the case. Jerry Jeudy is a very good guy on his own right. And you're not going to see Cortland Sutton coming down with a 26% team target share. So I was in on Jerry Jeudy last offseason, and I was out on Cortland Sutton. But that was because Cortland Sutton was a late 4th round Dynasty startup pick, and Jerry Jeudy was going much later than that. And I was going, hey, this is a wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B situation, which I still think it is. I think Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy should be very close in these Dynasty startup drafts. I would prefer Jeudy slightly over Cortland Sutton. But yeah, I went from being someone that was way lower on Sutton compared to consensus last offseason. And no, I don't want to act like we were right about that at all. We didn't get to see if I was right or wrong, but I got lucky with it. Obviously, he suffers an injury, and now his Dynasty value plummets for no apparent reason outside of the quarterback situation there not looking the best. So yeah, I'll say at this point, I mean, in the 8th round, yeah, Cortland Sutton, fantastic value. I mean, you can't lie about that at all. Okay, so Deonte Johnson going off the board at the 802, Cortland Sutton following right after. Now, Deonte Johnson, like I said, also not one of those players I like. He falls into that David Montgomery range where I may just be, I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I may just be very biased against Deonte Johnson. I may be looking at him going, you know what? You're taking everything away from our Juju Smith-Schuster shares. You're the one getting the volume, and I don't understand why. And maybe I'm just taking it out on Deonte Johnson. But at the beginning of the 8th, I'll say that's a decent value there. And now another player that we don't like at all, Chris Carson, still available in the middle of the 8th round. I mean, guys, answer me this. Would you rather have Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, or Joe Mixon in the 5th? Or would you rather have Cortland Sutton? I'm sorry, not Cortland Sutton. Would you rather have Chris Carson in the 8th? I think that those running backs are very comparable, and they're running backs that don't have long-term value, but they have immediate production. So if you're going to get Chris Carson at this kind of a discount, maybe Carson is someone that it sounds crazy to say because y'all know I hate him. Y'all know that he's another player that I've never pressed the button on. But of course, Joseph doesn't even give us the option to take him. Of course, Joseph takes Chris Carson here. Great pick, my man. Y'all know that Carson's someone that I don't like. Similar to Deonte Johnson, where Deonte Johnson killed our Juju Smith-Schuster value. I'm going to blame Chris Carson killing our Rashad Penny value. So, yeah, I have an irrational hatred for both of those players, but at this point, they're fine value. Okay, so Alejandro says he had to go for the stack with Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson. Man, I love your start so far. I don't agree with going with Laviska Shenault at the 7-12. I probably would have preferred to see Cortland Sutton, but that goes back to what I was saying earlier with DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault. I hate that in the majority of these dynasty startups, you see DJ Chark go off the board around this range, and then you see Laviska go 3 rounds after, where I think that, yeah, they are 1A, 1B right now in that offense. Very similar to what we're saying about Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. Yet in the case of those Jacksonville Jaguars wide receivers, I'm a little bit worried that you're going to see competition added to the wide receiver room. I'm a little bit worried that the targets aren't necessarily going to be exactly what a lot of people want to predict, because now that the Kansas City Chiefs are trading out of that first round, actually, I didn't even think about that. I guess the Baltimore Ravens are now a much likelier landing spot for the wide receivers like Terrace Marshall, for those guys, because they're picking at 2 spots at the end of the first. So, okay, that makes a difference with this wide receiver class, because obviously the Chiefs, you hear that landing spot, you get excited, you start to drool, and you hear the landing spot of the Baltimore Ravens for a wide receiver, and that is nasty. Okay, Christian asking, how long have you been playing Dynasty? We've been playing Dynasty football since 2014. So that's the class where you had Odell Beckham Jr. That's the class where you had Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks. A ton of exciting wide receivers come out. And that's why we have the original Odell Beckham Jr. and the original Sammy Watkins jerseys behind us, because they remind me to the time that I fell in love with Dynasty Fantasy Football. They remind me to a much simpler time. I will tell you all that. Okay, JN saying Colin Johnson, wide receiver 1. Yeah, yes, sir, my man. I'm sorry we had to mute you for talking about those Sooners. But anyway, please pipe down on the Colin Johnson love. I was planning on getting him probably in the 10th round. Maybe I'm going to have to take him at the end of the 8th if he falls there now. But yeah, Colin Johnson, wide receiver 1. Lock it in. Easy to go. Devin Duvernay, Colin Johnson coming up here with an 8-9 turn. Now, I will say, if we were recapping the board slightly, I'm actually really happy that we went with the rookie pick 110 here at the 701, because after that you see a run on rookie picks. You have the 111, the 112, the 201, the 202, the 203, all going off the board. So if we wanted a piece of this rookie class, thank God we got it at that kind of value. Thank God we got it at the 701. Okay, Mike asking us, do we play in any IDP leagues? Man, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I literally eat, sleep, and breathe fantasy sports. I mean, I am even getting into fantasy baseball and fantasy basketball. And quick side note, I've been playing fantasy baseball this year, and fantasy baseball may be more fun than fantasy football. I don't want to admit that. Definitely not more fun than Dynasty fantasy football. But I will say, my brain simply can't handle any information about defensive players. I mean, it doesn't impact any of my takes on the offensive side of the ball. It literally has no help in the slightest for how we are projecting these rookies coming into the year, our start-sit decisions, or anything of the sort. So no, we don't play IDP, and it's nothing against IDP. It's simply, it's not going to help me in the leagues that we do play in. And I have way too much going on right now to throw in an entire player pool into what I have to think about on a daily basis. Okay, so Kareem Hunt going at the 809. Not going to lie, we were going to take Kareem Hunt at the 8-9 turn if he fell to us. Even with us not necessarily loving the value you've seen on Kareem Hunt in the majority of those startups. Like I've said, guys, I mean, I don't hate players outside of Chris Carson, outside of Deonte Johnson. I more so hate ADP. So while Kareem Hunt I liked last offseason when he was going around the same range, I liked him because he was on the last year of his deal. I thought that there was a chance that he was going to be leaving Cleveland, yet he signs that extension. Then at the beginning of this offseason, for whatever reason, people wanted to bump him up to being a 5th, 6th round Dynasty starter pick. And I was like, are y'all kidding me? What are we seeing here with Kareem Hunt? So I didn't like that ADP, but here at the 809, I think that's great value. Now, Michael Pittman going off the board. Let me know what y'all think about this. I am about to sound like a boomer dad. I'm about to sound like someone who has no idea what they're talking about. And I know I hate this conversation, and I used to just rip into people that said this with Juju Smith-Schuster, and maybe I got burned by Juju. But are we concerned with Michael Pittman and him just pursuing the social media life? Are we concerned with him wanting to become a YouTuber? I know that sounds stupid, but we saw this same thing with Juju, and maybe I'm just taking it out because y'all know I bought into Juju when people brought up Juju's TikTok, when people brought up Juju's YouTube, when they brought up anything about his social media, his streaming. I went, guys, you're literally the dumbest person I've ever talked to. That's not going to impact him on the field in the slightest. It's 2020. Leave us alone with this garbage conversation. Yet Juju comes out, and clearly it's an issue. I mean, if you look at his age-adjusted production from whenever he was 20, 21 years old, that put him on a historic track, that put him on a track to be Randy Moss, and all of a sudden he's an average NFL wide receiver. So is it something that we may have to start looking at with these players? I know that probably it's not. Probably I'm just overreacting, but it's a conversation that I want to know your opinion on, because I don't want to have the conversation, but I think in a few years, maybe it's going to be something that we're talking about in Dynasty. Okay, so now here at the 8-9 turn, the question is, how much do we want to go all in on this win now? Now, I hate just literally pushing every single chip we have towards the center. I hate going legit all in on a win now. But if we add Julio Jones and Adam Thielen to this team, please let me know who is beating us in year one. Who is coming close to having the ceiling and the floor that this team has in a tight end premium, quarterback boosted scoring super flex league. So I think we go Adam Thielen, and I think we go Julio Jones here. Now, the value's fine. It's not like I'm jumping up and down excited about it. But you know what? I'm actually not going to do that. I'm actually going to end up probably going with the Robert Woods instead, just because, I mean, Julio Jones is 32. Okay, I think what we do here, I'm sorry, guys. The wheels are turning. I just don't want this to be the worst team in the league next year. That is the simple. I don't want to be the best team in the league this year and the worst team in the league next year. You know what? F it. Let's take Adam Thielen and Julio Jones. No, I made a mistake here. We should have gone with the Los Angeles players. Yeah, instead we make a mistake. We should have gone with Julio and Woods. Yet we go with Thielen and Julio. So that's a mistake on my part. Clearly, y'all saw I was struggling with that. And yeah, it looks like we're going all in this season. You got Mahomes, Kittle, Kelsey, Zeke, Hopkins, Adam Thielen, Julio Jones. So this team looks like it's going to be dominant in 2021, but this looks like it's going to be a rough rebuild after that. Okay, Shane asking, what's the quarterback scoring boost? Okay, so instead of 4-point passing touchdowns, you have 6 point per passing touchdown. And instead of 1 point for 25 passing yards, you have 1 point for 20 passing yards. Mike saying, can't you change it? Technically, I can because I'm the commissioner, but no, I'm not going to abuse my commissioner powers and just change that pick whenever it was a conscious decision. Now, if it was an auto pick and the guy after us hadn't gone yet, then sure, we can tell the league that we're changing it and say, hey, if y'all have any problems with this, if y'all think I'm getting an unfair advantage, let me know and I'll change it back ASAP. But no, if it's a live draft and I sat here and I actually thought about it and it's not like it was an auto, I just have to live with my regret. Okay, Zip is saying, I'm not sure Adam Thielen is even good in 2021. Yeah, hey, man, fair point. Adam Thielen, another player that I don't really like, but here we are. We panicked. Adam Thielen's on the team. So, hey, Adam Thielen season, baby. Let's call it top 5 wide receiver in 2021. I will get the thumbnail over to our thumbnail guy in Point God, and he will start working on it, and we'll be pumping out those videos. Okay, Andrew says, Woods and Kupp or Woods and Thielen. So I guess y'all were kind of all over the board. I guess some people wanted Woods and Thielen. Some people wanted Woods and Julio. Some people wanted Kupp and Thielen. Some people. So maybe it's not as bad as we initially thought. But let's see where Jay Clark is going to go. I mean, he's been on the clock for a while now. So it looks like maybe he was planning on going one of Thielen or Julio. Yet instead he goes with A.J. Dillon at the 902. Now, y'all know A.J. Dillon, a player that, honestly, I want to say we crushed A.J. Dillon. I want to say that if you followed this channel on what to do with A.J. Dillon, you did exactly what you wanted to, because the majority of other Dynasty channels, I'm not going to lie to you, A, haven't been playing Dynasty that long, and B, really had no idea what to do with A.J. Dillon, because in Dynasty rookie drafts last year, they were saying to avoid him. They were saying that he was nothing during the season, and everybody was valuing him as a third-round rookie pick. And as soon as we get to the offseason, and as soon as people finally look around and wake up and go, crap, Aaron Jones could be leaving? A.J. Dillon, we're the first-round pick. A.J. Dillon, hey, this secret superstar that we just found out about, his Dynasty value jumps up for what appears to be no apparent reason, because we always knew that A.J. Dillon was going to be in a situation where he could possibly become the starter in 2021 with Aaron Jones under his last year of his deal. And all of a sudden, he jumps from being worth a third-round starter pick to a first, and we're screaming, sell, 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 after we were screaming buy, buy, buy. So yeah, A.J. Dillon, I just have to bring up that story because it's one of the instances that we have already crushed. Literally, games have not been played. We didn't have to see a single game played from A.J. Dillon, and nothing really had to happen except people on Dynasty Podcast finally waking up for us to be able to cash out at an extreme profit for everybody in the flock. Okay, Matt is saying Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver 1 in 2021. Matthew Stafford is going to light him up. I'm not going to lie. That's probably why I should have gone with both of the Rams wide receivers at that 8-9 turn, just because Matthew Stafford coming in. Man, I agree with you there. It was my fault. It was my mistake. Odell going at the 905. I love that value with Odell as well. I mean, to be honest, I could have convinced myself going with Odell over Adam Thielen as well. That's what I should have done. That is the real mistake here. The real mistake here is I passed up on the Baker Mayfield stack with Odell Beckham Jr. to take Adam Thielen, a wide receiver that I don't even like. I mean, that was very bad. Okay, so now let's see if we have any teams that are standing out as not balanced, and we can try to project where they're going to be going in the future. Okay, so Jay Clark is going to be needing a quarterback 2. Actually, does he have a rookie pick? No, he doesn't need a quarterback 2. He has the rookie pick 103, so he's fine there. Okay, doesn't need a quarterback 2 here. Kind of needs a quarterback 3. I guess you could say that you are fine. Actually, no, you have the rookie pick 104 as well. So no, it looks like no teams are extremely QB needy, because remember, these kickers are rookie picks, so they're probably going to be QBs as well. So it looks like everybody has 2 quarterbacks already. I guess Joseph doesn't, so you could expect to see Joseph go with the QB here at the 9 or 10th round pick. Then here, okay, so these are the 2 teams that are going to be fighting for quarterbacks. So it's going to be interesting to see where they decide to go. Of course, they do have some quality options as their QB1, so it's not like they're completely desperate. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. Okay, Christian is saying trade him, Mason. I don't know who that's in regards to. Maybe it's in regards to Adam Thielen or Julio Jones, but I doubt anybody's going to be too excited to trade for them whenever I just sat here on the live stream crying that I took them. Adam saying he needs a quarterback. Yeah, man, I just saw that. I probably shouldn't have even brought that up, because we're probably going to see someone else take one now. Adam Thielen is always staring you in the eye at the top of a sleeper ADP. Yeah, I mean, it's the ultimate restraint. How far can you let Adam Thielen fall with him being at the top of ADP? How far can you just make sure you have the self-control to not press that button? But apparently it wasn't that far for us. Christian says he wanted to join our next league. Okay, guys, our next league, I'll do it as a live stream as well, just because I've had so much fun with these live streams, and we've had a ton of people coming out dropping likes. I mean, this live stream's close to 100 likes already, so clearly y'all really enjoy it. So it's something that I should be doing going forward. So our next live stream, I will say, we're going to be live streaming throughout the entire NFL draft. I'm going to be giving you my live reactions for everybody subscribed to the channel, as well as we're going to be doing real life rookie drafts for these Patreon flock leagues. All Patreon flock leagues have their real life rookie draft at the same time as the NFL draft. So I'm going to be coming on live. I'm going to be giving y'all live recaps of what's happening in real money rookie drafts as the NFL draft's going on. So because of that, next Friday, I can't live stream one of these startups. But after that, I promise you, we are going to be getting these going again. So if you want in one of these Dynasty startups and you're on Patreon, you need to make sure that you are sending me a DM on Patreon. I promise y'all, we're going to have a ton of content coming out. And I know y'all really enjoy these live streams. I can see by how much y'all literally drop likes on the stream. But next week, our streaming schedule is just going to be crazy with the NFL draft. And I want to make sure that we're talking rookies. I want to make sure that I know a lot of other channels. I know pretty much and nobody else in the entire Dynasty community has that many rookie drafts all going at once, getting all of those real life reactions. Because we can come out here and we can talk about anything. But when you're on the clock, when you have to make a decision, that's when stuff is on the line. That is when your real opinion shows. So I can be giving y'all those valuable data points. That's why I'm telling y'all, make sure that bell is hit next to the subscribe button, because whenever I go live, you're going to want to get notified. You're going to want to be able to come out here and talk rookie drafts with me, because I'm going to have all those data points to give you right away with, hey, if Devonta Smith goes to the Philadelphia Eagles at 12 overall, how far is he falling in these real life Superflex rookie drafts? Okay, Broncos fan says, don't forget the dog at the end. Yes, sir. I honestly, I was probably going to forget the dog at the end, but thank you for reminding me. Okay, I will say Hunter Henry in the 9th round. That is a fantastic value given the fact that you had Robert Tonyan at the 903. Robert Tonyan, probably a player that I'm just not going to be in on. Now, he did dodge NFL free agency. Yes, he dodged the fact that no significant wide receiver 2 was signed to the Green Bay Packers, but we've seen the Packers time and time again. Instead of going out and getting big name free agents, what they do is they just draft their guys. They just go through and keep the guys that they draft. This is what you saw with them re-signing Aaron Jones. Yet, hey, they drafted Jace Sternberger in the 3rd round in 2019, combined with the fact that, hey, they're probably going to be drafting at the end of the 1st a wide receiver that's going to take targets away from Robert Tonyan. So yeah, Hunter Henry, even in a bad situation, I think the talent is there where he's a decent pick in the 9th round, given the fact that this team did not have a tight end already. Okay, Alejandro says, what do y'all think I should do here? Okay, guys, Alejandro crowdsourced his picks in the 5th and 6th. Let's see, what do y'all think Wanted Alex should be doing at the 9-10 turn? Okay, so he has 3 wide receivers already. He has the tight end, and we already went through this rookie pick here. It can be anything from a Travis Etienne, a Najee Harris. Maybe he decides to take a quarterback 3 if a Trey Lance or such falls to him. But anyway, he takes Will Fuller right away. It looks like he doesn't even give you all a chance to tell him what to do. Going with Will Fuller, getting that Tua Tagovailoa stack. So Will Fuller, it's interesting because clearly he probably would have fallen down a little bit further. But the question is, hey, you're picking at the very end here. If Will Fuller's your guy, are you going to risk him not making it back to you with a pick that you don't have for another 24? That's probably not going to happen. He probably would have gone in the range where we were drafting. So it does look like a reach, but I want to point out the fact that when you're at the end here, you sometimes have to reach. You sometimes don't have a choice. And Matthew coming in says he says, oh, I wanted Fuller so badly. Okay, so yeah, I'm assuming there's no way that Will Fuller would have made it back. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just standard with where he goes in these drafts. Okay, Mark is saying that Wanted Alex should be going with some rookie picks at this range. What rookie pick are we on? Let me go through and read that. Zip is saying, I did not realize Odell was still on the board at your last picks. Man, I'm going to be honest, neither did I, and I really hate myself for it. I really wish we would have gone with Odell. Real quick, it's extremely awkward where we have our camera, so what I'm probably going to do is let me take my face away from this real quick. Once Wanted Alex picks, I'll pop back on. But Matthew said he would have taken Will Fuller in a heartbeat. Okay, so maybe that's a fantastic Will Fuller pick, especially when you have that Tua Tagovailoa stack. But let's go through and count what rookie pick is currently available on the board. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 9. We took the 10. Okay, so you have the 111, the 112, the 201, the 203, the 204, the 205. Okay, so this is the 206. So would you really have the rookie pick 206 over Will Fuller? I mean, if you go to our rookie rankings, you're probably going to be seeing players like Amara St. Brown. You're probably going to be seeing players like Diami Brown. Actually, no, Diami Brown's lower than that. I have Kadarius Toney in that range. But anyway, that is where he decides to go at the 10-01. And I want to remind everyone, I mean, Obviously, those rankings are going to drastically change once we get the landing spots, once we get the actual NFL draft capital. But Jalen Reagor, the first failure wide receiver from that 2020 class, going off the board here at the 10:02. Usually when you see Jalen Reagor go off the board, you see the other failure wide receivers from that same class go, like a Henry Ruggs, like a Denzel Mims. It's going to be interesting to see where they go now that Reagor is off the board. Not saying that we think they're the best value on the board, not even saying I would take them in the 10-11 turn, but still just going to be interesting to track that. Okay, let's go through. J-Wall is saying, looking back at a redraft league I was in last year, I traded Odell Beckham Jr. for Kelsey straight up. Oh my God, man, that is ridiculous. Trust me, guys, I love Odell. I mean, we've had so many people coming on the live stream telling us to take the Odell jersey down, that there's no reason to have it up, as well as the Sammy Watkins jersey. But those are my guys. I mean, I love them. And it's honestly embarrassing. Not that I passed on Odell for Adam Thielen and Julio Jones, because I think in a vacuum, you can say all those wide receivers are equivalent in dynasty value. But what's embarrassing is I passed up on the stack of getting Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. when you had those wide receivers in the same tier. So, yeah, it's embarrassing on my part, and there's really nothing else I can say about that. Now, I will say Derek Carr in the 10th round, fantastic value. Now, yes, in a standard league, Derek Carr, not someone we are too excited about, but like we said, hey, in these leagues, they're a little bit different. You don't need those quarterbacks that have the elite rushing upside because the quarterback scoring is boosted. That's why I wanted to create this type of format, because you didn't need to get a rushing quarterback. A guy like Derek Carr, if he has a good NFL season, he's going to have a good fantasy season in this league. Adam Davis says he didn't want to take Carr there. Man, no, yeah, that is a perfectly fine pick. Let me pull up and see if there are any other quarterbacks on the board that you could have gone with instead that maybe you would have liked a little bit more. I mean, you have Goff, you have Darnold, you have Winston, you have Newton, you have Locke, you have Roethlisberger, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, man, I'll say it's a fine pick. I'm not going to sit here and clown on it at all. Maybe you could have convinced yourself going with a different QB, but I think it was the right call to go with the QB at that selection. Now, Evan Ingram going to Joseph. Man, Joseph, I don't know if you're in the chat or not. I don't think I've seen a chat from you, but please, if you are, let me know, because I want your opinion on Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a player that I've been drafting a lot in startups this season, but he's been falling. They brought in Kyle Rudolph. He was used like Jason Witten last year. Let me know, guys. Joseph is a New York Giants fan, so let me know your thoughts on Evan Ingram, because he's a tight end that not many people remember this. Not many people remember this in Dynasty Fantasy Football, but at one point, guys, Evan Ingram was the Dynasty tight end 1 in ADP. Now, that was after his rookie season in 2017, and that's because simply rookie tight ends don't produce. So if you go out and you put up production, right away, you're going to be in a historic range. You're going to be looking like one of the best tight ends of all time. Evan Ingram was an elite level athlete. He comes in, produces right away in 2017. I believe he was a top 5 tight end that year. And yeah, I mean, it's been a massive fall since then. Okay, Shane says, I love Odell. I think he could produce again. He still has crazy talent. Man, I'm right there with you. Odell at the 905, a great value. Matthew says, Melvin Gordon is still on the board. Yes, sir, Melvin Gordon's on the board, as well as some other running backs like Myles Gaskin. I'm not even going to throw Ronald Jones in that range, but like a Chase Edmonds, a Kenyon Drake, a Leonard Fournette. So Gaskin goes off right now. The thing is, with these running backs, they can be great running backs. I mean, you can see a world where Melvin Gordon goes out there and he's a top 12 running back this year, especially if the Denver Broncos make an upgrade at quarterback. But also, we live in a world where it's possible for Melvin Gordon to literally have zero value this time next offseason. That is 100% going to be likely. I'm sorry, not likely, but possible when you see the fall for a Le'Veon Bell, when you see the fall for a David Johnson, when you see the fall for a Todd Gurley. And I hate to bring up those running backs, but they're the best examples. Kelly asking, why would you even consider Juju at the 101? It was a joke. Okay, if y'all are new to the channel, Juju Smith-Schuster was a wide receiver that last year I would come on and I would argue with people. I would go, guys, y'all simply don't know what y'all are talking about. Juju Smith-Schuster has age-adjusted historic production for his his rookie and his sophomore year campaigns. I mean, he should easily be a late round 1, early round 2 dynasty startup pick, and I valued him as such. I went out there and I bragged that, I just got my 7th share of Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm going to crush y'all this year. And I laughed at the people that were drafting Deonte Johnson. I laughed at them over and over and over again. And yeah, we saw how that played out. We saw how that played out horribly. But yeah, so anyway, if you hear me reference Juju, I'm still probably higher on Juju than consensus, but you typically see Juju go higher in these dynasty startups just because probably I talk about him so much more than other, I don't even say channels, just other dynasty leagues. You'll see Juju really fall to this early 8th round with the Deonte Johnson, with the Cortland Sutton. And in that range, I like him. Here at the 703, I mean, while he's my guy, I think we made the right call by taking the rookie pick 110 over him. Yeah, Alejandro coming in says Mason has daddy issues with Juju. Hey, man, there is no better way to describe it than that. That is exactly what I should have just put it at. Okay, Alejandro says Gaskin's value either booms or dies after the draft. Yeah, man. I mean, that is 100% true. If Myles Gaskin dodges if he dodges those landmines in the NFL draft, if Miami doesn't take a Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, or Travis Etienne, you have Myles Gaskin jumping up here probably to the 8th round with the Chris Carson and the Kareem Hunt range. But Jameis Winston going off the board in the 10th round. And Jameis was our guy we were going to be looking at here. We were going to be getting our 3rd quarterback in Jameis Winston. Congrats on the pick. The reason we are going to be going with Winston is he fits the mold. I mean, he is someone that has access to that elite passing ceiling. We've seen it before in 2019 where he led the NFL in passing. And I actually played in a dynasty format in 2019 where I had Jameis Winston on my roster. That was exactly the same as this. It was 6-point passing touchdown, 1 point per 20 passing yards. And I had injuries throughout the entire roster. And Jameis Winston, as well as Russell Wilson, put my team on their backs, carried me to the promised land. I mean, Jameis Winston in this type of format has so much value. Okay, BMG says, can I get a mod in a Dynasty gym video? I have no idea what that means. Okay, Shane says, as a Giants fan, Ingram pisses me off, not going to lie. Dude is brick hands, but for fantasy, especially in tight end premium, that's good value. Yeah, I mean, it is a problem. Generally, I think that drops are overvalued with their impact on player value that you find in Dynasty, because a lot of the case with those drops, I mean, it doesn't make too big of a difference on how many points the player's actually scoring. Just the difference is what you're finding is it's a lot easier to remember when a player dropped the ball, but it's not that easy to remember when they didn't get open on a certain passing route. Okay, I don't know why these players are starred. Let's get that off. Okay, so more QBs go off the board. I probably should have just kept my mouth shut. Now at this point, I don't even think I can go with a quarterback. I was almost certain we were going to be taking a quarterback here, but yeah, I don't think we can at this point. Maybe we go with one guy. Let me sit here and I don't even want to say his name out loud because I think there's a chance we would get him in the next round. And there are a decent amount of wide receivers available. I think maybe we go wide receiver. So we have 3. We have Hopkins, Thielen, and Julio. But you know what? We need some kind of long-term value on this roster. We can't literally be 100% win now. So I will say the 2 wide receivers I definitely would take here if I was going to double tap wide receiver would be Anderson and Curtis Samuel. But I think what we actually need to do is I think we need to go and draft about our 100th share of Jordan Love. I mean, Jordan Love, the reason I'm taking him here is simply his dynasty value is only going to go up. I mean, there is 100% going to be a sell opportunity with Jordan Love, where the second he gets traded, the second something happens with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, where maybe Rodgers doesn't look like he's going to be the long-term starter, or the second that Rodgers gets hurt, Jordan Love is immediately worth a first-round rookie pick and probably more, and especially if he performs at a high level. And I've been very impressed with the coaching staff in Green Bay the past 2 seasons. So Jordan Love, we're going to be taking there at the end of the 10th. And then here, the question is Robbie Anderson or Curtis Samuel. And I would definitely lean Samuel in a vacuum, but because we have a win now team, maybe we go with a Robbie Anderson. I wish Sleeper showed the contracts of these players. Maybe they do. And no, they do not. That kind of sucks. I think what we do, just because we don't have time to look up the Robbie Anderson contract and see if he has guaranteed money after this season, so I think we just go Curtis Samuel here. let's just take Curtis Samuel at the beginning of the 11th. I mean, given the fact that we know he's going to have a role on his NFL offense, we know that he's going to be a quality depth piece for us going forward. Okay, but let's move this up, and I want to let everyone know we are going to be live streaming for the next 25 minutes with this draft. Then we are going to stop it. Then we are going to switch over to a slow draft and end the stream. Okay, Alejandro says, Mason Gunn sniped me. Man, you were picking 12 picks from now. You thought Jordan Love or Curtis Samuel was going to get to you. Okay, let's see. Guys, what do y'all think I should have done there at the end of the 10th, the beginning of the 11th? I mean, with Jordan Love, I am literally stashing him everywhere. I probably need to make a video about him just because I've been taking him in every single one of these Dynasty startups. Like literally, I think that every startup that we have done this offseason, I've walked away with Jordan Love. And it seems like every single time we take him, we get messages going, hey, can I buy Jordan Love? What does Jordan Love cost? And every single time I say, hey, man, to be honest, I'm not looking to sell him right now. Circle back to me whenever it looks like Jordan Love is going to have a starting job. Then maybe we can talk, but the value that you're going to be giving me right now probably doesn't match what Jordan Love's actual value is. Okay, Berto says, Mason, did you see the trade between me and Baskin in the Flock 2? Thoughts? Was that the Carson Wentz and Dallas Goddard trade? Actually, it was. I sent out something in the chat where I was like, hey, nice trade, guys. Okay, so real quick, guys, the Flock 2 is a Patreon Dynasty startup that we had about a month ago. And that league has some crazy settings where it's start 2 tight end, it's start 2 quarterback, and it's 1.5 points per reception for the tight end position. And I know that there were secondary pieces involved in the deal, but the main deal was just Carson Wentz for Dallas Goddard. And if you looked at the rosters for both teams, I actually thought that it made a ton of sense. And now I know that you look at this and go, hey, I mean, they went in a similar range. But here, I will say that probably Carson Wentz had, I don't even want to say Carson Wentz had slightly more value. I think that in my eyes, it's a completely fair trade. And I think that's what makes Dynasty great, is where you can go through and you can make win-win trades that help both teams. And that's what increases activity. That's what makes a league active. And yeah, you love to see stuff like that. Okay, so Billiken Baller coming out says, oh, who's your running back 2? Okay, so our running back 2 on this roster, quickly zooming through, no running back 2. We have Ezekiel Elliott as our running back 1. We do have the rookie pick 110, and really the only running back that we would be looking at in that range would be a Javonte Williams. I don't care where the landing spot is for Kenneth Gainwell. I don't care where the landing spot is for Michael Carter Jr. or Chuba Hubbard. I'm really not going to be looking at a running back with that pick outside of Javonte Williams, because we can naturally assume that there's a 0% chance that either Najee Harris or Travis Etienne fall to us. So yeah, I mean, it's either going to be Javonte Williams or it's going to be someone we draft later on. But in this format, I'm fine not going completely 0 running back, but going modified 0 RB, taking that 3-down bell cow in Ezekiel Elliott, and then afterwards circling back around and trying to backfill. Okay, Tanner coming out. Thank you, my man. Really happy to see you out in the live stream. Okay, Leonardo asking, what's Matt Ryan's value in a Superflex format? I think, honestly, Matt Ryan, like in this league where he was drafted at the 609, is probably a little bit undervalued, but that's because this league is a league where you want to incentivize the passing yards. You want those passing touchdowns rather than rushing yards and rushing touchdowns at the quarterback position. So Matt Ryan in this format is exactly where you want him. And it is interesting with Ryan where there's a wide range of outcomes with what can happen in the NFL draft with Matt Ryan. You could see the team go with the Trey Lance. You could see them decide to go with the quarterback with that number 4 overall pick, play Matt Ryan in 2021 as the starter, and then look to replace him going forward. But what you can also see, and what you're seeing in more and more mock drafts, is you're actually seeing the Atlanta Falcons taking Kyle Pitts at that number 4 selection. And in that case, you're looking at Matt Ryan and you go, okay, Matt Ryan now has Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. Now, is this the best situation that you have in the entire NFL, the best pass-catching core that you can find? I think you can almost make the argument for that to be the case. So Matt Ryan, man, I will say that it's going to be very hard to value him for the next week. It's going to be very hard to figure out where he should be valued over the next week. But as soon as we get that NFL draft, we're going to have a much better answer. Okay, so Tanner asking 1.02 and DJ Moore or the 1.04 and the 1.05 in a 12-team Superflex format. Okay, man, to be completely honest, DJ Moore, in my opinion, is at least equal to the 105. I love DJ Moore, so we're going to be going with the rookie pick 102 and DJ Moore, especially with the chance that Justin Fields goes to the 49ers. Guys, if you think that the 49ers are going to take Justin Fields, you need to be trading for that rookie pick 102 right now in Dynasty Superflex startups. You need to be doing it right now because, in my opinion, if that happens, and I've already spoke on this with Link, so we don't need to dive into it exactly why, but Justin Fields is the quarterback one in the class. Now, of course, he's not as talented as Trevor Lawrence, but we're talking fantasy here. We're talking about who's going to score the most points, and I think that would be Justin Fields in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. So that 102 pick automatically becomes an elite level quarterback, and regardless of if the person in your league with the 101 agrees with you or not, and he decides to go with Justin Fields, then you get Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it's a win-win situation. So yeah, if you think that Justin Fields is going to be going to the San Francisco 49ers, I think you really have to trade for the 102. Okay, Billiken Baller says, or if Fields goes to the Broncos, that'd be sick as well. Yeah, no, obviously you would love that landing spot with Judy, with Sutton, with Noah Fant. But the problem with the Broncos landing spot is the coaching staff isn't as great as Kyle Shanahan. I think that easily the 49ers are the best quarterback landing spot in this year's NFL draft. And I do not think we've seen a landing spot like this for a top 5 quarterback in a very long time. I can't remember one. Guys, please, if y'all remember an NFL draft where a top 5 drafted quarterback was stepping into a better situation than the San Francisco 49ers, please let me know in the live chat right now because I don't think it exists. Now, I want to point out this Ronald Jones pick here at the 1106, and let me tell you why I hate this pick. And I'm just going to be blunt with it. The reason I hate this pick is you go over to who's available at the running back position. So you go, okay, if you're going to go with a running back, who are you going to be looking at? Yeah, I guess you could talk about Ronald Jones, but Chase Edmonds is still available. And even with James Conner coming in, even with you having to be a little bit worried about James Conner possibly getting goal line usage, possibly being the short down running back, still, I would simply rather have Chase Edmonds and the upside that he possesses over Ronald Jones, and it's not even close for me. Chase Edmonds goes with the pick right afterwards. Let me know what y'all think there, but I think there's no world that I'm taking Ronald Jones over Chase Edmonds or honestly even some of these wide receivers or tight ends that are currently available. I mean, there's still... Also, guys, let me know what y'all think about Zach Ertz. I took Zach Ertz in like the 20th something round of that 2 tight end premium format. Now, is Zach Ertz just completely done? Is he literally having no shot at resurrecting his career somewhere else other than Philadelphia? Because I thought after round 20, he was a fine investment given the format, but I just continue to see him be similar to that I'm feeling, where he's just at the top of the ADP every single time you go to pick, and you just have to pass on him 6 rounds until you go, you know what? Maybe Zach Ertz is someone we can pick here. Okay, so let's go through here and see if we have any other questions. Okay, so Cody's saying the Tampa Bay backfield is a mess. Yeah, guys, with Fournette coming back, I mean, I simply couldn't think about taking Ronald Jones over Chase Edmonds. I mean, I think Fournette is probably a better running back at this point than James Conner. Corey Davis going off the board here. Love that Corey Davis pick. I could have made that decision here over Curtis Samuel. I think that they are neck and neck. I think by far and away the best wide receiver, the best picks in general, I guess you could make the argument Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett were good values, but I think some of the best values in this round came from Corey Davis, Robbie Anderson, and Curtis Samuel. Now, let me go through and try to figure out what rookie pick that is, because we maybe need to take a rookie pick coming up. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we know our rookie pick's the 110. Okay, so the 110, the 111, 112, 201, 202, 203, 204. Then you have the 205. So that's a rookie pick 206. That's a decent pick. I mean, I like that we only have 2 rookie picks going off the board in the past 3 rounds. So maybe the rookie pick value is finally catching up to where it should have been. Okay, Garrett is saying Ertz is a nice bounce back value. He was literally a tight end 1 in 2019. Yeah, whenever I was working on that Dynasty rookie draft guide that we were looking, like I said, we were looking at historical hit rates right now of tight ends is what we were writing this morning. And we were going through and looking at recent tight end finishes, and I think Zach Ertz in 2019 was I don't think he was the tight end 3 there. I think he was the tight end 2 in 2018. I think he was like the tight end 6 in 2019, but that is off the top of my head. I could be easily wrong there, guys. I know he was the tight end 2 in 2018. I'm confident in saying that. Okay, Cody's saying Rojo, Fournette, Bernard, and Keyshawn Vaughn. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. That's why Ronald Jones he has no value. I mean, he has no upside to be a workhorse running back. He has no upside to be a 3-down guy. That's why I can't get behind him there at the 1106. And I'm sorry for just completely ripping into that pick. But like I said, guys, I'm wrong a lot. My opinion doesn't mean much, but if it is going to mean anything, I have to be giving you my honest opinion every single time, because if I just come out here and I just pat every pick on the back end and go, love it, that's what I would have done. Love it, that's what I would have done. Literally, I don't have an opinion in that case. Okay, Michael Gallup going off the board here. I do like the Michael Gallup pick in that, yeah, you're looking at a situation that isn't great. Michael Gallup was used as a field-stretching wide receiver this past year, despite really possessing any of the traits that you would want from a field-stretching wide receiver. But we have seen the production before. We saw it in his second year at the NFL. A lot of people got excited about him as a top 6-round Dynasty startup pick before the CeeDee Lamb pick by the Dallas Cowboys. So if you're betting on the talent there and you go, hey, maybe Amari Cooper or Michael Gallup leave this Dallas situation next year, I think that Michael Gallup is a fine pick. Okay, Porter is saying, where do you think the best landing spot is for Javonte Williams? Some of the best landing spots are on teams that don't necessarily have elite offenses right now, but they have touches available. Teams like the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets stand out. Those are also teams that have a ton of draft picks throughout the entire draft. So yeah, maybe what I'll do for not tomorrow's video, I think we already have tomorrow's video recorded, but the one after that is I can go through and I can rank the landing spots for running backs, rank the landing spots for wide receivers for y'all, and talk about some specific players I'd like in specific ranges. But of course, let me know if y'all want me to do that. Okay. Now, Adam coming in says, do you like my team? Let me check this out. Okay, guys, Adam was picking here from the 110. And what I like to do is, if we're trying to evaluate these teams, is to keep it really simple. I just like to go through and look at every pick, and I go, what would I have done here? Does this stray that far away from what I think best player available would have been? Okay, so I don't like the Jonathan Taylor pick at the 110. We've already discussed this. I think it should have been a Russell Wilson, and you could have guaranteed yourself one of these other running backs on the way back, but completely fine. I mean, you live and you learn. Then you have Dalvin Cook at the 203. Dalvin Cook, completely fine with him at the 203. Maybe it would have been a coin flip between him and Deandre Swift for myself, but that's because I love running backs in their rookie contracts. I know most people would go with Dalvin Cook there. Then you have Rodgers in the third. Fine with Rodgers given the format, but it was more so putting a Band-Aid on a wound that you created by passing up on Russell Wilson in the first. Diggs in the fourth. Diggs, I'm fine with, not going to dive into much. Mixon, like the value in the fifth. Thomas, love the value in the sixth. Chark in the seventh. Honestly, I'm fine with Chark here. I know that we were calling him an overvalued wide receiver whenever he was in this range, when he was going with Allen Robinson, the Mike Evans, the Keenan Allen. There, I hate DJ Chark, but if you're going to get him alongside Laviska, Tyler Lockett, Deonte Johnson, Cortland Sutton, DJ Chark completely fine in the seventh. Sutton in the eighth, love the value. Hunter Henry in the ninth, I like the player. Situation's gross, I'll call it neutral. I like the fact that you went QB in the 10th. I don't know if I would have gone with Winston myself over Derek Carr, but the thought process is there, and that's what matters. And then you have the rookie pick 206, I believe, here. So yeah, man, I think that overall, really the only mistake that I see is passing up on Wilson at the 110. But outside of that, I really like the start. Okay, so now let's slide this over so y'all can see that. Let's pull this draft board up. And guys, let me know who y'all think has the best team so far through this startup. And I know that, yes, our team isn't sexy. I know that it does not have a ton of young studs. It just has a ton of guys that are going to put up points in 2021. Okay, Broncos is saying, I'm running a high-stakes league. Should I reverse the third round? Okay, so if you're talking about a third-round reversal, let's just look at what that actually does for the league. So you're talking about a third-round reversal. So instead of going this team starting with Wilson, Barkley, Tua, they start with Wilson, Barkley, Kelsey. Is that really that much of a better start than Mahomes, Kittle, Kelsey? Because I know the argument for a third-round reversal. I don't have a ton of experience with it, to be completely honest. I would stray away from it, but that is just me. Okay, Josh is saying, I prefer a third-round reversal. There are articles out there saying why it's the most balanced approach. Okay, man, I completely believe that. It's not like I'm sitting here saying that it's something that you shouldn't do. I just think that it's not my own preference. Okay, Jordan Bird saying thoughts on the team so far, first startup, so it's been interesting. Yes, sir. Let me go pull this up. Okay, so Birdman right here, picking from the 105. So Lamar here, man, this is going to be something that I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, and this is something I will say, y'all know I'm wrong all the time, but I think I can safely say that I'm right in this one case. Now, in the case of Lamar Jackson, I think you were completely fine to go with the quarterback here at the 105. But given the format where it's pass happy scoring, while in a regular league, I'm fine with Lamar Jackson over Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson. Given this specific format, I think that Lamar would actually be at the end of the tier because what he provides is elite rushing upside, which simply is now at a little bit of a ding given the pass happy scoring. But then you decide to go with the rookie pick 104 here. And if you're taking the rookie pick 104, I'm fine with that as well. Darren Waller there at the 305. Love that Darren Waller pick. Here, this is actually the rookie pick 107. Let's count it out. So you have 5 here, 6, 107. So if you're looking at the rookie pick 107, you're looking at probably a Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, or you're looking at one of those rookie running backs. So I actually like that pick there. Calvin Ridley, love it. Keenan Allen, love it. Here, not going to count that rookie pick. Not going to count that rookie pick. Odell, really like that. Jameis Winston, really like it. So yeah, man, I really like your start so far. Similar to what we were talking about earlier, though, I just think the problem was going with your first round pick, taking Lamar Jackson over one of those quarterbacks that should have more passing volume. Okay. Okay, Josh says, I didn't like the idea until I tried one. Now I prefer it. Don't blame people for not wanting to do it. Yeah, guys, let me know what y'all think in the live chat. Of course, maybe that's what we can do for one of these startups. Maybe we can go through and the next Patreon Dynasty startup we do, we can make it a third round reversal. That way we can just keep it fresh. Just keep it going with a new setting every single time because I don't want people just going through like zombies. I don't want people just copying and pasting the same strategy and over again. I don't want to do that. That will definitely make me bored with the league. So what I'd rather do is keep it interesting, keep it a little bit different, and maybe that's something we can implement with our next one. Okay, so now Denzel Mims goes off. Kenyon Drake in the 12th as well. Kenyon Drake, honestly, not a bad value here, given the fact that with Kenyon Drake, you do have him as a running back with upside if anything happens to Josh Jacobs. And you could make the same argument that that's what A.J. Dillon was in the 9th round. So if you're getting Kenyon Drake in the middle of the 12th, while maybe I personally wouldn't have done it, I completely understand it. Now, Jarvis Landry at the 1205. Like that pick. I think maybe we're going to look to go tight end here. You have Hurst. Actually, no, Higbee and Everett would have been our guys. Higbee and Everett would have been our tight ends that we were looking at. And I think just because we have Kittle and Kelsey, we are going to be completely fine holding off on that. Maybe we look to go running back, guys, because we really don't have that much. We don't have anything behind Ezekiel Elliott. And yeah, there are some intriguing running backs. We are in the 2nd round, I believe, with these rookies. So that is something we want to keep our eye on. Okay, Jay Anna says, rivalries being created in the Flock 2. Man, let me know what happened in the Flock 2. Yeah, let me know what happened in the Flock 2. Maybe I can pull up the Flock 2 league chat. Hopefully nothing crazy is going on right now. Let's see this for ourselves. Let me just pull this up. I'll keep everybody up to date with the gossip right now. Okay. There are too many messages for me to catch up on. Jan, if you can recap us, if you can let us know the gossip and what's going on, please fill us in. Now, Brandon Cooks going in the middle of the 12th. Brandon Cooks is probably someone I would have ended up taking here at the end of the 12th. So I do like that. Now, I think the best value on the board, honestly, when we get up is going to be Gross because a lot of people are going to be looking at something thinking we did it intentionally, and I'm going to be saying that we really didn't want to do it. I really hate doing it, but we are going to end up finding it. Okay, Jay is saying some spiciness between Baskin and Black and Blue. Okay, I will definitely go and catch up on what is going on once we get done with this live stream. Okay, but anyway, we are going to be done with the live stream in 5 minutes. If y'all enjoyed the stream, please, guys, like I've said so many times before, I know pretty much everybody watching this should be subscribed to the channel by now, But hit that bell next to the subscribe button because we are going to be doing many more things like this. We are going to be going live randomly. We are going to be doing a ton of stuff during the NFL draft, and you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you know whenever this is happening. And also what I can actually do real quick, something that I always forget to do, is send y'all a link to our free fantasy football group chat. We have like a couple thousand people in here talking Dynasty fantasy football. Now it's completely free. You don't need an email. You don't need a credit card. You don't need anything. So I'm going to send this out right now. Okay, there we go. Sent that out. Broncos fans saying, don't forget the dog. Yes, sir. I will go grab the dog before we end the stream. What I'll probably do here is I'll make our next 2 picks whenever we get on the clock. Then I'll go grab the dog, and we can end the stream after that. Yeah, but we passed 100 likes on this live stream, guys. So thank you so much for everybody going down there and dropping a like on the channel. And we just passed 4,000 subscribers as well, which is I mean, it's not an accomplishment just to completely overlook. Actually, no, thank God. We don't have to, actually, no, we have to make 2 picks here. I got excited thinking that we can get away from something. Alberto says, a great stream, really entertaining while I do schoolwork. Thank you, my dude. I'm happy to hear that. JN is saying, Austin is East California. Man, Austin is becoming more and more like California every single day. I mean, I was downtown at some friend's apartment, and somebody got in the elevator. Of course, they're from San Francisco. I mean, it's just something you were seeing over and over and over again. Okay, so we got 2 more picks coming up. Let me know where y'all think I should go. I mean, honestly, QB value. That's why I probably shouldn't have gone Love. I probably should have just waited and taken a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger. But anyway, Zach Moss going off the board here at the end of the 12. Zach Moss, someone on his rookie contract. I know a lot of people think Buffalo is going to go running back. I would be very surprised if that actually happens. Come on, let's go. Let's get this up. Okay, also, before we end this, let me make sure that y'all can see the entire draft board. That way y'all know what's going on. Yeah, let me move this around. That way y'all can figure it out. Okay, Tony Pollard goes right before us. Thank God Tony Pollard was actually someone that I was going to pick just because he was by far and away the best value on the board. But the last thing I wanted is for people thinking that we are intentionally handcuffing Ezekiel Elliott, because you don't win leagues by handcuffing. I've talked about that so much before. So I was a little hesitant to draft Tony Pollard because we had Zeke. But now we don't have to. Now we can go with one of our wide receivers. We are going to be going with Mecole Hardman here. For the first reason is Kansas City looks like they are less likely to draft a wide receiver now that they traded away those picks. And also throw in the fact that we already have the Travis Kelsey, the Patrick Mahomes, and now the Mecole Hardman stack. That is something that we can get excited about. What we should have done is we should have counted rookie picks. Let's count rookie picks real quick to see where we are with the rookie picks. Okay, so like I said, this is 10, 11, 12, 13. Then you have 201, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are on the rookie pick 208. So we're going to go rookie pick 208 and Mecole Hardman. Now, the best value on the board right now is probably rookie pick 208 and rookie pick 209. But just because we want the stack, we're going to be going with Mecole. Okay, let me go grab the dog before we end the live stream. And yeah, let me pull up this draft board. I'll get rid of this. That way y'all can see it play out. Okay, this dog does not want to get up from the nap. She is staring at me. I grabbed the treat and everything, and this dog won't listen to me, so I'm very sorry. The next live stream, I will drag her up here. I'll show her off. But no, for this one, we are just going to end up having to pause the draft here. It is about 7 o'clock. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, supporting the show on Patreon, just hanging out with me during the live stream, talking with me. Of course, I always enjoy talking with everyone. So, yeah, let's go pause this draft. Let's get this changed to a slow draft. And thank you, guys.